From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, we have Alex here to talk about Nobody Saves the World, and I also got an exclusive review of Zombie Army 4 to talk about.
I wish you guys would talk me into playing a different game.
I sing the Ballad of the Champions.
I think it's kind of funny that you end up reviewing Zombie Army 4. That's definitely one I was like, I don't think I want to get into.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Well, welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about zombie games and Hitler and all that. And it's Hitler's birthday while we're recording this, so
Wow.
the best way to celebrate that is to talk about a game where you get to kill Nazi zombies,
Especially on the devil's lettuce.
which is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we are your hosts. I'm Trey Guava Melee Johnson.
Ooh.
I'm Jarawana, Slayer of Starscourge Radon Mikowski.
I'm John Quaker Knitter.
And we have a special guest.
Alex JRP Jesus Orona.
Oh, there you go. Welcome back, Alex. Glad to have you on the show again. It's been a minute.
Yes,
I don't
welcome
know. It's probably been like maybe a year or something. It's been a while since we had you on there. I don't remember. Maybe it was it like Saga Frontier? Did you read that? Did you review that, right? The one?
Yes, it did. Saga Frontier.
Yeah. The fun thing is I kind of get insider into seeing what you're reviewing on Nintendo World Report because I see what you play through the Nintendo Switch. So I can kind of spy on you.
Yeah, we're friends on Nintendo Switch, and then every once in a while you'll send me a text and you're like, dude, you're reviewing that game? And I was like, I forgot. We're friends on there, and you could definitely see a game that I'm playing that is embargoed. Whoops.
Yeah, I mean, I don't tell anybody else. And if I mention it on the show, because I mentioned it last week that you were reviewing it, but I didn't post it until you already put your review up. So I don't want to.
No.
I'm trying to not rock. I don't want to rock
the.
I don't want to rock the boat and all that. You know?
You've never done anything to ever rock the boat, but I always just think that's funny. I was like, oh crap, I forgot that you could totally see that. That's fine.
I mean, like I said, if you're worried about it, you can always you can make me a best friend or something, and have it to where like only your best friends can see it. Like you can do that too. I know if you don't want people to see what you're playing.
I think I have like 6 friends on Nintendo Switch, so it's like that's fine.
It's cool because I somehow became friends with Per Schneider from IGN, so I get to look at what he's playing. Like he shows up sometimes. I don't know why he friended me, but I don't know why he accepted my Switch friendship. But I can see whatever he's playing, so I can spy on him. And our friend Janet, I could still see her stuff for the most part because we're friends on there. So
yeah, she's actually guested on our show as well now.
Nice, yeah. She's killing it. She's been she's doing a lot of shit. I watched her Playdate review. It was cool.
She's all over the place. It's very cool to see her.
Playdate review is really good.
But
is anybody getting into the Playdate?
I don't have it.
What was like $180 or something?
Yeah,
I'm an Ardu Boy purist.
Yeah, Jeremy was. I remember when Playdate, we talked about when it was announced. Jeremy's like you said, an Ardu Boy supporter, and you were like, they already did this,
and for much cheaper.
In a way, yeah.
It doesn't have a crank, but it is backlit at least.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was backlit. I was watching the review earlier, and I was like, "What? What? No backlight? Like, really? Wait, what? What are we living in here? Like, we
that's
got
the biggest complaint a lot of people are saying.
I couldn't believe it.
For $180, it could have had a light.
I just automatically assumed that it had one because how could you have a portable in this day and age without a backlight? That just makes no sense.
Well, I think it's more about what can you do with a crank. Like, you want to crank it? Let's crank it.
Sure, I guess. But what if you want to play?
Soldier Boy doesn't play in bed. On there, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, well, that's what I was upset about. It was like, how is this not the Soldier Boy console
of all the consoles?
Give it
this
time.
is the one.
Give it time; it'll come around. But no, I saw that you did a review of a little game called Nobody Saves the World, which was on a lot of people's lists for best games of the year so far. Like, it's getting a lot of getting a lot of praise and all that. And I just bought it last night. Actually, I bought it. That was my gift for finishing the Zombie Army review. buying myself Nobody Saves the World, and they're much different games.
Oh, very much so. I just really like Drinkbox Studios.
Oh,
them
sure,
doing
yeah.
like you said, Guava, your name.
Guava Melee, there was an Easter egg I just found in it today when I was playing it. I don't know if you caught it. There's a vending machine in like the League of whatever it's called, the League of Wizards house. Yep. There's a Guava Melee machine, and it says Guava instead of Guacamole, and it has the guy on there, the Guacamole guy, and I was like, that's funny. Like, I like that.
I think there's a severed vending machine as well from their other game, and then their PR company is through Pop Agenda, and they have a Pop Agenda vending machine as well.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like that there's less memes. Like, I like Guacamole, but I remember there was a lot of memes in that game. There's too many memes. Like, it was too many meme jokes.
It's very meme heavy. Yeah.
This one seems to be more like video game related jokes, which I'm into. Like, those work well because it's a video game. You know, you can make jokes about Lara Croft or Sonic or whatever. You know, that fits better than Keyboard Cat or whatever was in Guacamole.
Yeah, and like Grumpy Cat. Yeah, I just think that in this game they definitely like they do the let's make some classes, right? Let's make a rogue. Let's make a a knight. Let's make but then let's make a robot class, and let's make a slug class, and then let's make a magician class, and it's like, okay, that they're bodybuilder class. Like that's just fun, and it's also just poking fun a little bit at like those classic JRPG tropes.
Yeah, well, I mean, give us the lowdown on Nobody Saves the World. Like, I played it for a few hours, like maybe like 2 or 3 hours, and I think the farthest I got. What was the last thing I got? I have the horse. And I have the turtle, and maybe the turtle was the newest one that I got, which has become my favorite. I actually have that the highest. That's the highest ranking of all of them so far. I've used it the most. It has a B level.
Yeah.
I just got to the it's like a mushroom house. It's like in the around where like the decaying like pumpkin area and stuff like that. It's like kind of around there.
Yeah. So it's a Diablo style game. It's a dungeon crawler. I want to say like 3 or 4 buttons, 4 buttons at max, but like you're using these abilities on cooldowns, and you're just decimating giant hordes of enemies. And it may seem a little simplified there, but what it really comes down to is that you get like these really intense, like just some like large amounts of classes and different stuff that you're doing. Like you can switch classes on the fly, which is excellent. But you have this skill tree with all these different classes that you can expand to, and each one comes with different quests. Do the said ability 3 times. Do this other ability to like 100 enemies. Do this ability while also doing this other ability. You get all these different quests, and as you do that, you progress and level up the class, and also level up your base character. And then, of course, your story is you're a nobody who is just a blank, like humanoid that's gray, no eyes, just really creepy.
Yeah, everything has eye sockets. It's real creepy. Like the art style almost kind of reminds me of like Ren and Stimpy, like even like some of the way the characters move and stuff, which is really cool. Like kind of reminds me of that art style.
Yeah, and so
you actually mentioned that in your review.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's very creepy, and there's also a video review too, just for reference.
Oh, there is.
Did you have to edit the video too?
Yes, I captured the footage. I edited the footage, did the voiceover.
Damn, you're rocking it over there. I was wondering who was doing the. I'm sure like whoever's
nice and polished.
I'm sure whoever's recording, whoever's doing the review is doing the videos too. Because sometimes they just have like like here's 15 minutes of the game, or like sometimes it's like a full review. And I was wondering like who decided all of that.
On the just behind the just a little bit inside baseball, when it comes to like the bigger names, they generally want a video review. And in this case, being like Drinkbox Studios and their more and like newest anticipated game after like Severed and all the Guacamole series, you're like, oh, okay, let's get this a little bit more exposure with a video review. And then of course it takes a little bit more work, but in this case, you're a nobody, and your job is to find the hidden wizard, the wizard who's disappeared. Ultra Magn. No, what is it? It's not Ultra Magnus, but it's something like that. And he, there's these characters like, oh, there's a Calamity coming, kind of like Zelda.
Yeah, I caught that. The Calamity is like the big evil force that's happening to the world.
And they just give you a big Zelda style map that you just explore and find new portions of. And then there's just random dungeons throughout. and you go in and you just defeat hordes, and then you fight a boss, which is generally, it's not like a boss, it's just waves and waves and new enemies. And then you finish that dungeon, you go on, and it's very fun. I found it like a very good podcast game. I was listening to podcasts, I was watching TVs, and I was just like grinding dungeons. And
I was thinking about that too. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give it like the full benefit of like listening to all music and all that, which is weird because one of the like some of the songs I'm not really into. Like some of the songs get kind of repetitive, kind of quickly. But there, I wish I could remember. There's like one song that reminds me of a Super Nintendo, a song from a Super Nintendo game that I used to play, you know, as a teenager. And I remember my friend Caleb like singing the song, and it was like driving me crazy. I could not figure out what it was. I mean, it's like completely like shot in the dark. I don't think he would ever remember it. I thought about mentioning it to our friend John Wedgeworth, who does like a video game music show and all that. But you know, it's like we probably didn't play the same games. Like I remember it being like, it was obviously something that didn't have a great soundtrack, so I don't think I downloaded it like recently. Yeah. But yeah, it just triggered a memory for me of like some weird old, could have been a Genesis game too, I don't know. But yeah, just where I was like, this is it. But no, it actually, the game kind of reminds me a lot of like Xenoblade too, where it's like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition was a huge podcast game for me. Like I would just like totally veg out and just like do all the side missions and like no main missions and just listen to podcasts, because it's real mindless. Like you go from one thing to the next thing. And especially in the Switch version, they gave you like markers on the map to show you where to go, so you have even less to think about. But this game reminded me a lot of Xenoblade, where you know, you get a ton of missions from everybody. Each town you get a shit ton more submissions to go do. And all those submissions like upgrade your, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Not even just NPCs, just like when you unlock a class, they automatically give you 3 missions.
Oh yeah, right from the bot. Yeah.
And it's just nice. It's just, it gives you that endorphin hint of like, I am currently achieving something. I'm knocking out a checklist.
And yeah, it's fun to see. Yeah. Cause it'll has it on the side of the thing, and you just hold the L button and it'll show you like what it kind of like pop out and show you what it is. And, you know, you can click on whatever's finished and then you redeem it and you get the experience points and all that. And yeah, like you're saying, it's cool that you can level up the actual forms that you have and level yourself at the same time. So you get like, you know, higher HP and damage and defense and all that stuff. Like from that. So.
And then so that's where you get like this open world, and you just go around and you defeat all the dungeons. And sadly, the dungeons are kind of repetitive. They're procedurally generated, but you know you get the same like 10 enemy types. The way that they kind of adjust that is that each class, not every class, but like there's like 4 to 5 different types of damage. There's like light damage, piercing
that's
damage,
cool too.
Poison. Yeah. And the enemies will have a shield, and that can only be broken by like, say, like physical damage or light damage. And you have to switch to a class that has that.
Well, I mean, but you can also customize them, right? And add and add those in there.
So then the other good thing is that at a certain point you can customize, so you can add abilities, both passive and active abilities from other classes into your current class. You can have a horse that will gallop, and his gallop ability causes everyone to be poisoned. Or I had a magician class that one of his cool abilities was that he pulls rabbits out of hats, and that the rabbits attack, so he has minions. But there's a zombie class that gives you both the ability to bite somebody and then they become a zombie. Also, they give you an ability that all your minions explode.
That's cool.
So I made the magician who would bite people, pull out a bunch of rabbits out of hats, and then they would all explode when they died.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't got that far yet.
It's very fun to like find and customize your favorite classes and then put together something that is just like, oh, every hit does extra heals, but also stuns. And it's like, oh, that's very cool. The one thing I will say is that like I unlocked all the classes and I kind of mastered all the classes, and I'm still like there's I did all that before I beat the game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was kind of bummed about it, because I was like, okay, I did everything, and there's like 4 more dungeons, and also I didn't, and you don't have to do all the dungeons, but you know, they're not that long. They're like dungeons take like 15 minutes. So I was like, well, there's still more dungeons. Plus also I didn't beat the game yet, so I'm not really working toward, like, there's more quests. Sure, you can get like higher ranks, I guess, but I'm like, I don't know. I kind of did everything I wanted to do with as far as this. I'm not checklisting stuff anymore.
Do you think the last boss is going to be a horde mode, or do you think you're going to get an actual huge final boss.
I mean, there are some bosses that are bigger, or the bigger characters,
Yeah, and yeah, he was bigger for sure. But it just for the most part, generally, it's not as much. So that's where I'm like a little bit more bummed on this side. That where again, I really like this game. I gave it an 8. I just also think that like there are games that you know that they overstay their welcome. We're like, this could have been done like 10 hours ago. And I don't think that I think that Nobody Saves the World is a great game that overstays its welcome by I want to say like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, because you got to, because I remember I saw that was in your cons, was that once you get past all of the mission, all the like submissions, it's kind of boring after that because you're not really working to.
Yeah, there's more submissions, there's more quests, there's more stuff to do, but it's like, I was working towards unlocking every class and then getting like, at least an A in every class. But I did that and there was like, oh, here's some more quests. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm okay. Okay. I already found like 3. And when I said before that they add the ability to customize, and also some dungeons enemies have shields. I just equipped every button, like 4 buttons, like each one had an ability that all gave different types of damage.
So you can make like an ultimate.
Yeah, and so but I did that for every class, so it's like doesn't matter what I'm doing. I just switch to a class, and I'm like, yeah, I can do poison. Yeah, I can do physical. Yeah, I can do light. It's fine. So it just stopped being a thing. And that's kind of where I was like, oh, okay, I'm a little over it.
I can't believe I didn't even think about the Diablo similarity, but it's totally there. Well, I mean, I haven't really played much of the Diablo games, but I did play a lot of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance stuff, which is the same sort of thing. But yeah, it's like you got the 4 moves that you gain, and you can upgrade those. And I didn't even think about that. Have you played much of it like multiplayer? Or did you do most of it solo?
I did most of it solo, but I did play multiplayer. It's a very fun multiplayer game, especially considering that all of the customizations that you're currently doing, like the monk does a light attack that just rains light beams from the sky. And it's like, oh, okay, so I could have somebody be a horse and poison everybody with a gallop while I'm light beaming everybody from the sky, and my light beams do stun damage. I'm just like, we're just decimating people, and it's super fun. But there's no progression for the other person. They're coming in as a clone of me, and at the same time, I come in, I pick my class and characters. I've already pre-built. I built up my loadout. But then they're going to pause the game, and it pauses. I see their menu. They pause and it shows up on my screen, and they're going through and creating their own custom loadout from my current gameplay. Oh, okay. So I got to wait there for roughly 5 minutes while he's like, I don't know, I want this ability, but I like this class, and I'm going to add this passive ability, and then I'm going to do this other thing. And I'm sitting there just like waiting. But once you're in there, it's super fun. But like they're kind of stuck to a class or two because they don't want to go through and do the reset up again.
And that's like online mode also, right? Because you can do it through online, but you still have to like host it through your profile, right? You can't like have somebody else join you as co-op in that way, right?
Yep, and it doesn't bring their progression. It only is a clone of yours. So it's a way for you, like if you're playing with like a significant other or something, it's like, yeah, this is great. We're just gonna beat the game together, and their progress is my progress. But I just brought in a friend of mine, and he was like, oh, let's see what this game's about, and he played it, and he's like, oh, this is cool. Man, there's a lot of classes you already unlocked. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well.
When you play it, it's not going to be the same. So I really liked it. I really do. I have a lot of glowing things to say about it, especially considering that, the classes, the cartooniness of it, the way the characters were drawn and the artwork, it was all very funny. All very charming, and those guys know what they're doing. I just think that also, like, it was a little longer than I thought I needed to be, and I thought the multiplayer could have been a little bit better, but it was seamless. It worked well online. There was no latency, there was no lag. There was just worked well.
And it has some options for that too, like that I saw, like that you can, in case there is like online latency, you can kind of like tweak it a little bit. Like I saw that in the menu, so that's always good to have that in there. I've only played it single player, but I mean, so far I think it looks really cool. Like I like and the parts that it actually does have to load, which are really quick. They do like a little like animated scene of your character like just kind of like moving past this really beautiful background, or like when you go into a dungeon, it shows like your whatever form like going like through this giant door, and it's all like really well animated, and it looks really, really cool.
The thing I would say is that the game does the way they also vary the dungeons is that they will put modifiers. So there will be a dungeon that will say everybody not just you, but all the enemies too, do 9999 damage.
Oh yeah, I found one of those. I didn't even stay in there. I left. I'm like, all these hits are gonna kill me. I'm out of here.
You gotta do long distance attacks at that point.
Well, that's another thing that's annoying that I noticed is if you die in a dungeon, you get kicked out, and the maps are like procedurally generated, right? Like, don't they change like every time you leave the dungeon? So when you die, you get kicked out of the dungeon, and then you got to come back, and everything has changed. So like all the places where you think you're going are in different spots and all that.
So there is two parts to that I don't think are necessarily deal breakers. The one thing is that those dungeons take about 15 minutes.
Sure.
And then when you get to the boss, you automatically unlock a teleport.
Yeah.
So if you die, you get teleported directly to the boss again.
You get like that was like a Legend of Zelda thing. I know that was big in like Majora's Mask where they gave you the teleport straight to the boss. They did that in Link's Awakening also on the Game Boy. Like just take you right there when you get there, so you don't have to go through the whole thing if you get killed.
The procedural generation doesn't necessarily matter in that case, but I also felt like if I died in a dungeon, I either finished a quest, which is totally fine. I'm like, okay, I got a quest or two done. That's fine. I'll just level that up. But the other part was that it then encouraged me to be like, okay, that class didn't work. What build will work?
Oh yeah. That was another thing I noticed. Like when you go into a dungeon and you get killed, there's these salespeople outside of most of the dungeon. So I like go in the dungeon for a while, get some money, I get killed, I come out. And I'm like, well, I died. Why don't I go see the sales guy and I'll buy like some extra like defense boost or something like that. Yeah, buy some stats to try to make it a little bit easier the second time through. So that's kind of what I was doing with the game.
Oh, I see. I just was always like, okay, because you unlocked so many different variables by a certain point that you were just like, okay, my zombie. He heals when he bites, but what if he also healed when he got hit? And then what if he, I just kept adding more and more, like zombie's not working. Okay, what if I have an archer that will throw bombs as well and then leave a fire path and then have it's like I just kept trying to build these different loadouts each time where I'm like, okay, that didn't work now. Okay, what can I try next?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been having a good time with it so far. I was hoping that maybe this intrigue to you, Jeremy, might pull you away from that other game that you've been playing so much. I mean, well, you can still play that one too, but you enjoy indie RPGs, and this is
I do.
It's a good indie RPG that has a lot of great charm. Everything's written really well, and
I like the customizable classes. That sounds really cool.
And
but
classes,
I gotta say, Jeremy,
almost like a Hades kind of thing.
But I mean, Jeremy, Slayer of Star Scourge Radahn. I mean, that is an impressive feat.
It was hard. I did it right before the. Have you played this yet? Have you?
No. He was the
I'd
last
be
boss. He was the last boss I beat.
Okay, that's the last you played of Elden.
Yeah, I got when it came to like when it comes to review time, I'm like, okay, I got to focus on one thing. So
then I won't spoil anything for you if I talk.
No. I mean, that was the last one I beat, and then I think I'm stuck in Volcano Manor.
I'm not there yet.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right. I got stuck.
Yeah, it took me I'd say at least 50 tries to beat him. So I'm not exactly a Souls guy.
So this is the most notorious boss in the game?
No.
It's one of the more notorious?
Some people say it's one of the hardest, but I think a lot of that's just based on when you get to it or what your level is and what your.
I mean, all those games
and all that. Uh-huh.
That's kind of how all those games are, though. That it's like, you could play. I'm gonna play this boss at like 5 hours. No, I'm gonna play this boss at like 50 hours, and the difficulty is very different.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But then here I am at level 96, and he's still one-shotting me, so I still have to employ strategy.
You're way higher than me, my friend. I don't know what I did, but I think I'm like 60.
You're probably just better than me.
That's why I never beat the Time Worm in Dragon Quest XI. All my characters were maxed out, and he still knocked me out in the first round. It was like dead, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this game. Time Worm is like the super duper secret boss from the game.
Oh yeah, you told me we had to beat it the second time.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dragon Quest XI. There's a couple there's the second boss, but then there's another super boss after that second boss, and that one just took me out, took everybody out, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna play this anymore because all my characters are fully maxed out, and there's nothing else I can do, and I'm still getting wipes, so whatever.
You've taken enough of my time.
Yeah, but I mean, I played that game for like 130 hours, so it's fine. I gave it a lot of time, and it's still one of my favorite Switch games of all time. So whatever. But still, when I got to the Time Worm, I'm like, okay, it's time to be done. Like,
still amazing they got that running on there.
It looks great. Oh, I love it. Yeah. I mean, my wife played through it all on the on the 16-bit as well. So
one of my friends was like playing that, and I was like, I don't want to say you're wrong, but I feel like you're playing it wrong.
No, the 16. Well, if you want to be like Elden Ring about it and be like, well, you don't beat if you're not doing whatever. The 16-bit version is much harder than the 3D version, like way harder.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, because you can't see the character, you can't see the enemies on the screen. Like it brings back the random battles of yesteryear. So you'll get being hit constantly. Also, there's like the map doesn't tell you where to go at all. Like you need to know where these places are. I actually printed out a map for my wife to help them see where to go in the game, because it doesn't tell you in the 16-bit version. Like you have to actually study it, like if it was a Super Nintendo game. So they kind of I feel like they do that as like a like I'm into retro games, so I like to play it harder. Like it's definitely way harder in that version than the 3D version. So
okay,
yeah, because like I said, you can't avoid any enemies. They'll get you no matter what with the random battles and all that. Plus the difficulty, and you have to There's no direction in the maps. Where this 3D one, there's like little pointers and stuff that tell you where to go. 16-bit doesn't.
Gotcha.
But no, Nobody Saves the World is I've been enjoying it so far. Like it's very charming. It's been, before I even saw that you were reviewing it, I saw people already at the beginning of the year talking about it being an important game, and I've seen it on people's lists already, and it was just kind of one of those things. I like quirky RPG stuff, so I was already like, this looks like something very interesting to check out.
I just think that there's a lot of talk about the best gaming year, best gaming years. What is the best, where the best games came out, and I think that every kind of couple of years, I always look at it and be like, oh no, this year's real good, and right off the bat, it's again, what are we in April?
This year's been pretty packed. Ever since they put the folder option on the Nintendo Switch, I've been building my Game of the Year collection for Nintendo Switch. I already made it to 10. I need to stop now. I already got my 10 games there. I just hate that you can't access. You have to go into a whole nother section to get there. Yeah.
Put it on the front. Yeah.
It should have been put in front, but I'm just glad that it's there at all. It's like whatever little pieces of meat I can get on this, I'm good.
Yep. It's I just going through the list, and I try to keep current, and I'm swamped already. I'm like, well, I just beat Tunic. What else? I got another one coming up. I got to do, it's just yep, that was the next thing. It's oh, this is another Game of the Year contender. And Nobody Saves the World was definitely on my radar for a long time, considering that I've been waiting for them to come up with whatever next thing from the Guacamelee people.
Yeah, no, it's much respect for all the stuff you're juggling there, with the reviews and kids and all that stuff. I'm sure it's every time is precious and all that, every moment.
Oh yeah. The trick is never sleep. It's oh, sleep when the kids are asleep. No, that's when I game. It's when do you sleep? Never.
You're like Batman. Never. You're like Batman. Yeah. It was in the comics, they said that he only sleeps 3 hours a night, every night. That's how he does everything. I'm like, bullshit.
I get 5. I get 4 to 5.
My problem is I like sleeping too much. It's but it's
I also like video games too much, and I have I have a personal thing in my head where I'm you get Xbox Game Pass, or you're just you get the Switch Online, and you're just but these games are just here, and I could just play them.
It's true. They're there. You can get into them.
So I should probably just do that.
Do you have any other final thoughts you want to say about Nobody Saves the World before we move on here?
I think these guys do a really good job, whatever they do. So I will always support them whenever I can.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely impressed with it. So far, it's very pretty, and I recommend that everyone should play it. And I think it's still on sale till the 24th or something like that. It's $3 off, whatever. But I got it on sale. So.
But I don't think those guys. They don't really do they don't do the $60, right? That's
no. I think it's 25 full, and I got it for 22.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good price for that game.
It's on because it's on sale. Yeah, it's on sale till the 24th.
And I think you can get 20 hours of that game.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely enjoying it. But aside from that, we're going to talk about games that we got and what we've been playing for the week. I see you got a couple things on here. Actually, one of these, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. That's one I've been wanting to play, but haven't yet. How is that?
That one I helped with the review as well. I kind of did some footage collection.
Nice.
It is a very good one of those, which is it's an anime fighter. If you've ever played, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or though it's Arc Systems Works. They make very, very pretty anime fighters. They're competitive. If you want to play a fighting game and you're I want to be part of this industry. I want to see what Evo people are talking about. Arena Ultimax is that. It's a very good game with a lot of good systems that are throwbacks to the Persona series. You get a lot of the abilities that you see in those games, and you get a lot of inside jokes and stuff. The one thing I will say is that the story is just a straight 15-hour visual novel.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, a lot of people
will
enjoyed
go
it, though. Yeah.
You will go 30 minutes without a fight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's what I mean is that if you want to play a very well done, a very technical fighting game that does have really good onboarding. They have one of the things that a lot of these systems now have are called auto combos. If you just press the same button 5 times, the light attack, it will give you different attacks 5 in a row and ending in a super. Oh. So it does look impressive, and it does less damage than if you were to make your own combo and do it actually the right way. But if you're a newbie who wants to learn how to do combos, these games have it pre-built now. Dragon Ball Fighter Z was the same thing. They really have this way to make you feel impressive, even if you're not part of that world.
You can kind of cheese your way through it in that way. Well, I mean, if you're not that good at it.
It gives you a starter, but then also their tutorial system is fantastic. They've been building up these tutorial systems every game, iterating on new ways to teach you combos. And then now the new system again is just like, okay, we're going to teach you. You hit low punch, high punch, and then down forward this button, and it'll do a thing. And we're going to practice it over and over again. And it's like, oh, that's cool that I can learn. And I can feel impressive, even if I can't do it in real life against a person. So that's all good. The game is fun. It's very flashy. It has nothing but love for Persona in itself. There's a lot of references. All the abilities and all the things about your characters are all there. It's just that if you want a story that is a very, very dry visual novel.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see it. I mean, because it was pretty much stuck on PlayStation 3, right, before this. So
and Xbox.
Now you can play it on other things. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but now it's on the modern stuff. And I mean, I've heard a lot of good things with it. Well, especially like the training mode is what intrigued me about it. Because I like fighting games, but I'm probably not that good at them. But I like doing like single player arcade ladders and like story modes and stuff like that. So I think I would have a lot of fun with it.
That's what you get with this. And the Persona series, that's the other thing, is that like those are very long-winded JRPGs that do have a lot of visual novel like tropes, and they have a lot of spin-offs as well. So they not necessarily on Nintendo systems yet, but like they have a Dancing All Night series, which is like a DDR game. They have 3 of those. This is the second fighting game that they've had. They have 2 dungeon crawlers that are like Chocobo Mystery Dungeon, but all of these offshoots are just hours and hours, like 30-hour visual novels. Yeah. So it's like, it's cool. Like I'd like the Dancing All Night series, but again, that story is 30 hours of visual novel, and you get like a dance section every 15 to 20 minutes of like full page text.
Is that how like the what was it, the Muso game was like too? Like whatever the fuck that was called, Persona 5 Strikers. Yeah, that was a little bit, that was less so, but that one also, like, that one didn't make sense to me as far as like I'm happy it released on multiple consoles, but the problem I had was that it was so predicated on you having played the original that was only on the PlayStation. Yeah,
so it's like, why would you release this sequel to a series, this version of the series that's only on PlayStation? That's like, that seems ridiculous.
It's a Nintendo world, man. We've been living in this for years. Like, it's like when we got Metal Gear Solid on Game Boy. It's like, okay, like where you hadn't played where Metal Gear Solid was only on PlayStation, or I don't know. They've been weird like that, where you get like a spin-off of one thing that's on another system.
Well, that was like, but that's Ultimax as well, is because Ultimax is directly a sequel to Persona 4 and Persona 3, which are only on the PlayStation. And well, now Persona 4 is on PC, but it's just like, why would you put these direct sequels on a Switch, in a Switch game? Like, just this is a sequel. It's like, that's weird. That's a weird choice.
I mean, we got the Persona Q games on 3DS as well that were all based around what you knew about the Persona characters that aren't on Switch, are on non-Nintendo systems, and that's It's just the world we live in as Nintendo people, I guess. We have to
Well, I mean, I don't know
stuff.
if you know what the Persona fandom is like. It's very funny. They've been doing the Persona 25th anniversary, and they've been teasing we're going to do it for a full year of just announcements. And then it came down to we're going to do an announcement every other month, and then the announcements were like, you can buy these Persona stickers. And the next announcement was we are releasing the soundtracks on vinyl in Japan only. And then the third announcement was we're going to have a festival in Shibuya for Persona. And it's like, what is this 25th anniversary? It's like,
it's only for certain places.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. And then also it's like it's so finite. And so like, again, you can get this sticker pack. It's like, what are we doing? So the fandom over there is very much like, they said there's an announcement in April, and all the real fans are like, yeah, I don't know. We might get a Trapper Keeper or something. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like mostly what I've seen from it is just people being like, oh, it's not on Switch again. It's like, it's not coming.
No, yeah, the real fans are like, there's a lot of hopefuls that are saying, oh, they're going to bring Persona 3, 4, and 5 to Switch. And the real fans are like, I don't know, man. We might get Persona Q2 on Switch, maybe.
Yeah, I'm like, can we at least get like 3? Can we get Persona 3 or something? Like, just, or I was gonna say put 1 on there, but that one's pretty bad. I played it on PlayStation Portable and I could not get into it. But
yeah, the series didn't get good till 3.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, but I still hope against hope, I guess. I mean, well, and when this one was announced, wasn't it announced like during like one of the Game Awards or whatever? It was like, oh, here's a Persona thing, and it's like Persona Arena, and everybody was like. But it wasn't.
Yeah, everyone was very surprised. They're like, "Oh, I mean, that's a good game, I guess, but like, that's a weird poll. Like, okay. You didn't want to put like any of the actual Persona games on any other consoles? No, okay, I guess.
Well, we can always hope.
Yeah, right.
What else do you have on here?
Another one I reviewed. I wanted to talk about was it was Atelier Sophie 2, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream. Have you guys ever played any of the Atelier series?
I haven't played.
I've heard of it, though.
I haven't played them, but I've seen them. Aren't they? I mean, they're kind of like super anime, right? And there's a bunch of them, right? I mean, I've seen them on the eShop, and I've watched reviews of some of them, and they look interesting. But it's like, where do you even start? There's so many of them.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. The Atelier franchise has been around. Wikipedia says the Atelier franchise has been around since 1997. But it is, they've been on Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, the Wonder Swan. Weird.
Whoa.
But they've been going for a while, and Atelier essentially stands for like it's an alchemist cauldron, and it's a very baseline. And I'm a big JRPG person. I've played a lot of JRPGs. There's a couple like blind spots that I'm always trying to fill in whenever I can. If I'm like, oh, I've never heard of this series, or I knew about it but never played it, I'm going to try something in that series to figure it out. I have Trails of Cold Steel lined up, ready to learn. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out where are my black holes on these JRPGs so I can figure them out. So when it came chance to review Atelier Sophie, I definitely jumped at the chance just because I wanted to understand what this was. And lo and behold, it's a JRPG, guys. Turn-based combat, magic spells, MP, HP, let's go. And the main crux of it is that it's just everyone's pretty just happy. Everyone's pretty pumped about whatever's going on. And any given time, it's like, we got to go find a friend. And it's like, cool. And it's like, when? And it's like, go over here when you want. And then in the meantime, why don't you fight some monsters and collect some items, or just go into a field and grab whatever you want. You want a blade of grass, you want a rock, you want a piece of gold, just grab it all. We'll throw it into a cauldron via a match 3 mini game, and you'll get a special item. And of course, everybody's asking for several special items. Here's 15 to 20 quests right off the bat of just special items people need. So go out into a field, fight monsters, or just go and collect grass and hang out. And eventually there is a quest that just says, hey, we're going to go find your friend. And you can go do that when you want, or just hang out and just make stuff in a cauldron and then hand it in. And then someone goes, oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. And then you're like, great. And then the end of the story. You just keep going.
I I mean, that's kind of like, I've saw that as a joke for like Zelda games where it's like, well, but Ganon is doing all this stuff. It's like, but I got to catch all these cuckoos and bring it over to this person and do all this shit before I actually save the world. You know, it's like easily to get distracted by side missions and all that stuff.
And that's what I mean is that Atelier, the Atelier Sophie series, and the main one is Atelier Ryza, but it's very anime heavy. You know, they do a little bit more of the fan service than, you know, that you could say, but for the most part, you're just enjoying your time. If you want a JRPG that doesn't put the pressure on and lets you do, you know, just collect stuff, put on a podcast, watch a show, and just collect, turn in a quest, and move on, that series is ripe for you because it's warm soup belly. You ever have like a bowl of soup on a cold day and then afterwards you're just all warm and tingly?
Yeah. I mean, you said it was in your, the warm soup belly of JRPGs. It's right there.
Yeah, that's what I mean is that's what this game is. It just makes you feel nice and warm and toasty, and no one's going to die. No meteor is going to destroy the planet. It's just, you know, there's kind of an evil presence. This guy's not good and he's doing some weird stuff with time magic, but you know, you'll get to it. You'll get to it. Don't worry too much. Just go collect some more stone, man. This guy in this shop is asking for some stone. Okay.
Yeah, cool. It's the other side of Elden Ring or whatever. It's like not as mean.
So that's what I mean is like that Atelier series. If you guys have been curious about it, that's the 5 minute. That's the elevator pitch for you. If that sounds cool to you, I recommend them because it's just nice and relaxing. Is the story compelling? I don't know. It's okay. It's there. It's anime stuff, but the rest is all just the set dressing for collecting. You want to collect some stuff and then just kind of enjoy, and that's where it's at. I'm very happy that's a series I got into. You know, there's a couple of series that I was always curious about, and then I tried them, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to. Like, you ever try a Kiba's Trip?
I remember the name, but no, I haven't played it.
It's the beat 'em up game, yeah.
Yes, where you beat them up and their clothes explode off of them. But those games are shallow. Like, there's not a lot going on in those games, and that's what I mean. Is like that was always like a Japanese like kind of action RPG game that I was like, I wonder what this is about. And then I got the chance to play one, and I'm like, oh, this is not what I thought or wanted from that game. And Atelier Sophie, I think, is exactly what I wanted from that game.
Yeah, I remember that coming to Switch, the other one, the Akiba Strip, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of like Streets of Rage. I don't know, maybe I'll try it, but I never got around to it.
No, I don't recommend it. It's just beat people up until their clothes explode off and then continue, and even that is like those games are very old. I think the one that came to Switch was from the PSP.
Yeah,
so it's not a great port. It did not age well. Maybe get Atelier Sophie. But I will say the problem with Atelier Sophie is it's kind of the same problem that you see with a lot of these like more niche JRPGs is the fact that their price remains the same. There is not a discount on these games. That and like Trails of Cold Steel, you want to get those games, they're still $50 a pop.
Yeah.
You could have a game that came out in like 2010 is like $50, and it's like, oh, this series is still retaining. I don't know if it's just retaining value or just not in high demand, but that series is still going at $50.
Yeah, I think I saw the cheapest that I saw. Trails of Cold Steel 4 was like $35 or something like that.
That's a sale. That's a sale. I bought it twice.
I mean,
because
I'm still waiting on Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 to come on Switch because all we have is 3 and 4 or something like that.
No, yeah, but though when they said that they were going to shut down the Vita store, I was like, well, what's a good game to get on Vita? Trails of Cold Steel 1, $45. Well, the Vita is going to go under, so this will be fine. And then they're like, oh, it's not going on sale, and I was like, well, maybe I'll play that on my Steam. And I paid $45 again. I'm a sucker.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about having time, and you're talking about sinking your teeth into all these JRPGs that are very, very long. I tried to. No. I made a pact to myself earlier that I was like, no more RPGs for me until I beat one of those many RPGs that I have that are just burning up my backlog. So
that's what
trying to do that for myself.
I've definitely stopped myself from anything over 15 hours. Anything over 15 hours, I'm not playing this year, or I'm not buying this year. But there was 1 year I declared to be the year of the JRPG, and one of my co-hosts said he said he was going to do the same thing, and he beat 9 JRPGs, and I beat Persona 5 Royal. That was it.
I mean,
I did it.
That's kind of like how I feel like that's how it is whenever there's a big RPG like of the year. For me, it'll be like, well, there's like 3 of them and I beat 1, you know? Cause it's like,
yeah,
there was like that 1 year where there was a bunch of them that came out and you just have to like, it was like, Octopath Traveler versus like Ys 8. And I went for Ys 8 and that was my game of the year, you know? You have to pick which one you actually liked. And I played a lot of them, but that was the one I wanted to stick with, you know? So.
Ys was one of the ones that was like those JRPGs that was like I had a giant hole for, and then I played 1. I beat 1. And that was pretty good.
No, Ys is great. I mean, I've only played like 3 Ys games, but 4 actually, because I did buy 7 on PSP. But no, I love those games. They're really good. Excellent soundtracks too.
Yeah, no, I just again I only played 1, but after I beat 1, I said, oh, you know what? I see the appeal now. And then I looked at the other games, like I think 9 just came out.
Yeah, I mean, it came out last year, but yeah, it's what came out last year on Switch and the year before on PS3, I think, or PS4.
But I saw like footage of it, and I said, oh, I see the appeal now. I see what I played 1, and then I see how the evolution turned into what you see in 9, and I get why people would like that.
Now you saying you played like the first one, or you just played like one of them?
I played the first one.
Okay, I was gonna say you should play, if you're gonna play any of them, play 8. I think 8's the best one. Ys 8.
I think was it Origins came out on Switch? Yeah, that's the one I played.
Oh, Origins. Oh yeah, that's not 1. That's actually like a spin-off of whatever. I mean, it's the original. Yeah,
I have to play the real one. Okay, I gotta.
it's a different game. Like Ys Origin is more of a Metroidvania than like the action RPG that you get from the regular Ys games. Like Ys Book 1 and 2, which were on like NES and like TurboGrafx 16 and like all these. That was like the original Ys, and then Origin.
Well, now you just threw my whole plan up into upheaval. Yeah. Which one's on Switch?
It's Ys Origin 8 and 9 are what on Switch. I say that you should play 8. 8 is on sale all the time. So I mean, seriously, they sell it for like $10. Like, wait till it's on sale for $10 and get it.
Putting it on my wish list right now.
Yeah, that was my game of the year for that year. Was Ys 8 because I loved it so much, and the soundtrack is so baller, and the story is great. The characters are great. It's a lot of fun. Moving on here. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I've been playing. Mario Golf Nintendo 64 game came out through the expansion pack service. I discovered a really cool thing before it came out is now if you go to the Nintendo Switch Online app through the home screen of the Switch, there's actually a countdown whenever they announce a new game, which is really cool. I didn't know that. Like because Mario Golf came out last week on Thursday at 8 o'clock. And I just like randomly selected the Nintendo Switch app, which that's where you can find all of the missions and stuff, where you get the points to get your, to change your icon and all that stuff. And like right off the bat, it says like Mario Golf 64, you will tee up at this time. And there was a timer that had like hours, minutes, seconds, and it was counting down like at the time. And I was like, oh, that's really great. Like they need to do that. They need to do that for everything. Like I want to see that on the eShop where it's like, buy it now, you'll get it in 5 hours. Like if it's like going to be a midnight release or whatever, like I would like to see that for everything. But I really appreciate that Nintendo did it for the expansion pack to where now you can actually see the time when your game will get launched. Like that's great because, there was the whole thing with like Banjo-Kazooie where it didn't come out until like 8 o'clock, like the day after it said it was going to come out or whatever. Like they've done ones that are like super, super, super late before, and this is nice that somebody realized that people like me care to know when this game that you own on cartridge and on Wii U and whatever else, you want to know when it's available for the Nintendo Switch, So I've been playing a lot of Mario Golf. I got to the credits. I beat it, I guess, because I made it all the way through the character matchups. I beat Bowser.
Beat of the week?
I guess so, yeah. I got 2 actually, technically, but that's one of them. But that was one of the beat of the weeks. Was I got all the way through the character matchups and beat Bowser, and that's cool. And unfortunately, most of the characters that you unlock are human characters because they were bringing over the characters from the RPG of Mario Golf on Game Boy Color,
that's what I was just going to say. I was so confused because I've never been really that into it. I've never been into Mario Golf, and I think the last time I played this one on the 64 was like 1999 when it came out. And so I fired it up and I saw that there was human characters
Mario's not even on there. You can't even play as Mario. You have to unlock Mario, which I thought that was kind of funny. You got to unlock Mario through the character challenge. So like you can't be Mario right off the bat. You can be Baby Mario. Or no, actually you have to unlock Baby Mario. Never mind. Baby Mario's not available. Luigi isn't either.
One of the characters, one of the human characters is named Plum, which I took that to be like, I remembered that in Mario Tennis they debuted Waluigi as Wario's counterpart. So I thought, Plum and Peach, that must be Peach's counterpart. And I thought that was like a failed attempt at that, at giving her a Waluigi. But I don't know. I had never heard of these characters. The other one was Charlie, so it was just like so confusing to see these human characters in a Mario game as the starting characters.
I forget what was it? Harry. There's a guy named Harry that has like red hair and he has like a goatee. And you remember in college, Jeremy? You remember Mike Twist? Do you remember Mike Twist? We used to call Harry Cyber Twist because he basically looked like Mike Twist if he was in a video game. He basically looked exactly like this college friend that we played the game with. It looked like him in the virtual world, so we called Harry Cyber Twist. So it was nice to see Cyber Twist again. I haven't seen him for a while in the game. But yeah, no, I mean, I played the shit out of Mario Golf 64 in college, and it's way harder than any of the other Mario Golfs, but also it's got some cool levels that aren't in the other one. Like I'm working on unlocking the Boo level, which is all like haunted stuff, but I got the Yoshi's Island level. I got like the Shy Guy Desert. And I got like the Koopa World, and I cheat on it. I play through and I do like where I save on every hole. I do like the save state and like you make a putt and then you fuck up the putt and then you like reload it and you do it again. Like that's how I do on any of these ones that have save states. But it's fun for me.
They call that get through it. Save scumming.
Well, you know what? It's available, so it's not cheating.
No one said it was cheating.
Yeah,
I said it was save scumming.
I mean, I beat all this shit on the 64 when it came out, and I don't want to spend that much time on it again. So I do the save scumming this time around. But it's a lot of fun to play. I mean, I love the Mario Golf games, and I'm glad that it's on there. And maybe someday we'll see Mario Golf, the Game Boy Color one on there, and then maybe we'll have the maybe we'll have the thing where you can bring the characters from the Mario Golf game onto the thing, because you used to be able to hook it up through the bottom of the controller and do the transfer pack and all that. Maybe there'll be some way to virtually do that at some point in the future. But yeah, I'm glad it's on there. I'm glad you gave it a shot, John. It would be fun to play online. I would be into playing 4-player online with that. Just try it out. Jess and I have just been playing it locally, and I will destroy all of you on that. But no, it's nice to, because Jess and I, we play Mario Golf Super Rush so much. It's nice to have another Mario Golf game with extra levels that we haven't tried yet. Even though this one is much more difficult than the other one, but it's nice to have some more stuff in there. But the big one was I got an embargo review, which is like my first one I've done. I guess aside from stuff that we've gotten like for NintenDomain, like we've gotten codes sent to us personally for stuff that didn't come out yet, and there's stuff that we've reviewed like for our podcast, but through Nintendo World Report, which I've been reviewing stuff thanks to Alex. I jumped on Zombie Army 4, which you didn't want that one? Nobody wanted that one?
No. I'm not. I don't know as far as what those is. That like Sniper Elite?
It's a spin-off of Sniper Elite, actually. I was gonna say, hopefully they don't. Nobody wants to disown me because I love the game. Like I thought it was great. Like I mean, I guess this game is like a mark. I'm a mark for this, I guess. Like I love third-person action shooter games. I like zombie stuff. I like horror stuff. It's like, it's like my perfect game. Like I loved it. I gave it a 9. So I mean, I had a fucking blast with it. So I mean,
all that matters is like what it matters to you, right? Yeah. And it's like I have not really interacted with that series at all. So when it comes down to it,
I mean, neither had I. I had actually I never played it before. I never played Sniper Elite. Well, I mean, I had heard of Sniper Elite, but once when I see Sniper Elite, I'm like, ooh, war game, not interested. Like I don't give a shit about Call of Duty, like Medal of Honor, whatever the fuck. Like I don't. More realistic the game is, the less I care about it. It's like I want the weird shit.
Let's tell me what is this game?
So Zombie Army 4. So I remember seeing Zombie Army Trilogy available for the Switch, which Zombie Army Trilogy is a spin-off of Sniper Elite. And I think it started as DLC for Sniper Elite V2, like the second one. And there were 2 versions of that, and then they did another sequel to that. But this is like its own like game on its own, Zombie Army 4. And it reminds me of a lot of things. Like it reminds me of like there's like a little bit of Monster Hunter in there. There's a little bit of like Dynasty Warriors, I guess. A little bit of like Doom, Wolfenstein, like Serious Sam, like those type of games. But it looks, but I think I felt like it looked and played really well on Switch. Like I'm not really like a frame rate person, but there was nothing that hampered my playing of it. Like I played all the way through to the ending. Like I beat the campaign. There's actually additional DLC missions on top of that, which I didn't get through yet, but I got through 2 of 3 of them. But I guess the idea is it's kind of like an ultimate package. They're giving you the first season of DLC for free in this $50 package, which is the same for the PS4 and 5 and whatever else it was released on. And you get like the regular campaign. And basically it's kind of like a Left 4 Dead type thing, even though I was unable to find online people to play with, so I played through the whole game by myself, completely solo, but I still enjoyed it. But it's a third-person shooter. It's a third-person shooter where you fight like hundreds of zombies at once and try to get from point A to point B.
Oh, it's a Left 4 Dead like style game?
I mean, it can be. I didn't play it co-op. I played it all by myself. But no, it's a 4-person co-op. You can play it online. You can play it locally. And basically the story is like, it's alternate history where at the end of World War II, when Germany was losing, Hitler decided to find a way to resurrect the dead and create this like zombie army, this like zombie Nazi army to even the playing odds, I guess.
Yeah.
On the war. And you kill Hitler in the first Zombie Army trilogy, but the army is still there. The zombies are still there. They're still like running across Europe or wherever else. And this one takes place at that time where there's still fucking zombies everywhere, and we got to figure out how to get them out of the world, like to hope for a better world after that. So that's kind of where it goes. And I don't want to say spoilers, but it goes the way you think it's going to go. Like the boss that is the boss is probably the one you think it's going to be. But yeah, that's basically what it is. And you have like 3 different weapon types. You have like your sniper. You have your sniper weapons. You have your secondary weapons, which secondary weapons are like machine guns and shotguns. And then you have like your handgun weapon as well. And you can find upgrades throughout the game to like basically max out these weapons and make them super powerful. Not to mention there's like you can level up and you get stuff like as you level up, and you can get different variations of all the different items that you can have. Like you can like kind of modify your like grenades and like your med packs and stuff like that. And I just thought it was just a shit ton of fun. Like it's just just blowing the shit out of zombies. And as simple as it sounds, I felt like they did a really good job. Like just like they have a good variety of different, like all the levels are different. Like there's one that's inside an abandoned zoo, or you're on a boat going through the canal, or you're in the swamp, or you're in like this frozen area, or you even go to like hell itself. And like there's all these different places that you go to, not to mention there's a whole bunch of different zombie types that will be introduced as you go through the game. So I felt like it did a really good job of keeping everything fresh, even though it's such a simple idea, but it never really felt like it went stale to me. I mean, I played through the whole thing. Like I really enjoyed the game. So like I said, I felt like it was a game directed at me. Like it's like my it's like my type of game. And I've talked many a times on the show about how much I love old school first person shooters, especially ones that involve like killing demons and stuff like that. So this is same sort of thing, like horror stuff with zombies and Nazi zombies, and yeah, it's fun. And I maxed out all my weapons. I think I was at level like 55 or something like that, like when I stopped. But yeah, and it has like a combo mechanic in it also. Like you want to like shoot as many zombies as you can like in a row, and you want to like do headshots, would get like higher points because of that. And then you get then you can score like a bronze, silver, or gold for every level that you go through. And there's like secondary missions as well, where it's like this one, it's like sometimes you have to carry like a canister of gas or something like that to the boat when you're going through the canal. It's like while you're carrying the gas, like shoot like 50 zombies in the head with your handgun, like while you're carrying the gas or whatever. There's little like extra stuff on there like that keeps it interesting. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm probably gonna end up buying Zombie Trilogy now too, because I had so much fun with this one that I want to play. I need to know what happened in the previous 3 games before this, so it totally turned me on to the series. And not to mention, I noticed like in the review that there's a lot of stuff that's DLC but not accessible yet. So there must, and I looked online, and there's 3 seasons that have come out so far, and you get the first one for free. So I think you have to buy season 2 and 3 separately for the Switch. So I don't know what the prices are on that because it wasn't available. But I mean, I'll probably end up buying them just because I had so much fun with the game. as is, so. And I'm really excited to try out the multiplayer once it actually officially launches, and other people will be on there.
Man, I did not know what that series was.
Neither did I. I was just kind of like, oh, it looks like a shooter and there's zombies. Like, I like those. So I kind of just jumped in it, not really knowing anything. But thankfully, it gives you a nice little 5-minute like recap video at the beginning, like showing you all the stuff that happened in previous games. Mixture of like actual World War II found footage with like footage from the games, and just kind of it's like here's what's happening. Hitler brought people back to life, and there's a zombie apocalypse all over the place. Here, go kill them, and that's and a lot of it's you have like areas where you have to clear out zombies to get like to the next thing. Or I mean, there's different missions that involve different things that you have to do. And there's like I will say that when you play it, because you get these character perks where you can basically you'll choose a thing like how you want to upgrade your character. One of the first character perks you should get is the heavy perk, because the heavy perk is the one where you can pull the turrets off of whatever they are and carry them around. Like that made a huge difference for me in the game. So if you're doing that, make sure and do that. Because I have turrets that you can set at and gun the zombies down, but if you have the heavy one, you can pull off these giant machine guns and just carry them around and kill people wherever. So, but yeah, it's a straight up zombie death shooting. I'm really interested to try out the co-op. Like I said, unfortunately, I didn't get to do that because I guess nobody had the game, and there's no crossplay. That was a missed thing for me, because I was hoping that maybe I could play with some people who had it on Steam, but there was nothing. There's no games whatsoever. I was like, okay, this must only be on Switch then. But I know you can flop your saves from one to another. You can cross save from Steam to this, but I didn't have it on Steam, so I don't know. But it made me a fan. It made me a fan of the series for sure.
Yeah, and there've been like Left 4 Dead has been like a kind of a hot commodity as far as like, oh, we gotta like recreate that like lightning in a bottle. Things like there was a Warhammer.
Back 4 Blood.
Yes, Back 4 Blood. But
Back 4 Blood's like the same developers though, right? Or like some of the same people, I think.
Yeah, it's some of the same people, but there was a Warhammer one. I'm trying to think of what the game was though.
Is that
Vermintide?
Okay.
Yeah, Vermintide. That if you were Vermintide 2 came out a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago. But that is just mystical Warhammer themed Left 4 Dead. So that, and I think there's talk of Vermintide 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard that. I watched a review of the Zombie Army trilogy, just because I wanted to have an idea of like how that one ran and all that stuff originally. Oh yeah, and it's made by Rebellion, which were the same guys who they put on there was a PlayStation 2 game that was a port that they did that I played the shit out of like on the first year of Switch. So I don't remember what it is offhand, but it was the one where the weapons like talk to you. They all have their own like personalities, and they're all like sentient beings or whatever. And there's a whole lot of blue characters in it.
I'm checking out Rebellion Studios now. Sniper Elite was their game.
It was the very first one that they ever put on Switch, and it was a port of a PS2 game. It has blue guys on it. It's called like Geniuses. It's something Trooper, I think. Rogue Trooper. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I played Rogue Trooper when it came out, and I really liked it. And I just realized it was the same company that did this. So I was like, okay, cool.
Does this make you want to look at Sniper Elite?
Kind of, actually. I was actually thought about it for a second. I'm like, well, hold on. I'm like, because I was like, well, I could buy a Zombie Army trilogy now, but I'm like, well, hold on. I'm like, let's wait and see, like, what like if they're gonna do the season pass thing for Zombie Army 4. Let's see what that's about, and then like maybe we'll go to Zombie. Well, I mean, definitely I want to play Zombie Army trilogy at some point. And I was at GameStop the other day, and I did actually find a physical version of it that was on sale, but I don't want physical games, so I didn't get it, but I was surprised that I found it.
Physical games for you.
I just don't. The physical games that I have are the games that I play the least out of all of them. That's why I don't want them.
But they can't take it away from you then.
That's true. I mean, I'll end up buying it again for Switch 5000 or whatever comes out.
It's like next, Scott Pilgrim.
They can't take it away from me. It's like Hope, right? Like Shawshank Redemption. No,
one of my co-hosts Joel's talked about. It's like then they re-released Scott Pilgrim, and he's like, I'm buying it because they took it away from me last time.
Oh yeah. True. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they did. But I had it. I mean, I had it for PS3.
Yes, but do you have a PS3 with it installed?
I thought I did. Well, actually, my PS3's memory died, so it might not be on there anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
you don't want him to take it away from you.
Had to reboot it, but I played it. I enjoyed it. I remembered that. I didn't need to buy it again.
But I have it physically now from.
Sure.
What was it? Limited Run Games.
Yeah. I mean, it's space. I don't have much space to get more physical, and like I said, physical games are the ones I play the least. because I don't like switching them out. I want the jukebox of gaming machines where I have all these different games to pick from at any time.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, but yeah, Zombie Army 4, give it a try. I mean, it's kind of a high price for something that you'd never heard of. I mean, for $50, but I think it's worth it. I think you're going to get a lot of hours out of it. And like I said, I felt like it was a game that was directed at me. So, people could start saying that I'm a mark for whatever, for liking the game. But I had a blast with it. I thought it was really fun. And that was just
I would say
that was
Trey
just single
is
player.
known as a mark for zombie Nazis.
For zombie shooting, for killing zombie Nazis. Yes, I'm into it.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah, no, it was a good time, and I beat it. That was my other beat of the week. I beat that. I beat the campaign mode, so I got to the credits on that as well. But then I realized that the game keeps going because the season 1 DLC has 3 more levels after that. So it continues. I'm like, wait, I didn't beat it. There's more. So I just kept going.
Fun.
And I want to see what's in season 2 or 3. And I guess there's 4 is in the works, but it's not out yet on PC. But yeah, I mean, if I play through Trilogy and I have enough energy, and I'm like, well, I might try out Sniper Elite 4. I heard that one was cool. I don't know. It's like the army stuff is, I was like, I don't care. But the way they create like the cool horror atmosphere, and I was thinking about this because last week we were talking about House of the Dead remake, the House of the Dead remake game on Nintendo Switch. I think that Zombie Army 4 is almost a better House of the Dead game than that House of the Dead game because it reminds me of House of the Dead Overkill. Because it has stuff that you could, because House of the Dead Overkill, it was all about building combos and shooting people like so many in a row. And also it had the slow motion mode, which I completely forgot about. And that's something in Zombie Army 4, you get the ability on your machine gun, or the machine gun that I had the ability to where you can slow-mo. You can slow-mo for a certain amount of time, and you can just destroy zombies. That's how you can clear a lot of people, because they're moving slowly and you're just jumping between them. And it's all in black and white, and it looks a lot like it did on House of the Dead Overkill on Wii, which is the best House of the Dead game.
I have questions here.
What's up?
The House of the Dead Overkill.
Yes.
What was that, like a pulpy, like kind of problematic story with like
it was
2
weird.
cops and then like some strippers?
Yeah. No, House of the Dead Overkill was my favorite House of the Dead game. I love it. Yeah, no, it's supposed to be a grindhouse like movie game.
Okay,
it's supposed to be like a B horror movie. There's some really weird shit that happens in the end of the game that kind of references Dead Alive if you've seen that movie. Yeah, okay. So
I didn't beat. We have a thing, Video Game White Elephant, where on my show where we will gift each other random games and then we play that. And I was gifted Typing of the Dead Overkill.
Oh. Does that exist?
I love Typing of the Dead.
Yeah, it does exist.
But does Typing of the Dead Overkill exist?
Yes.
Where you type and it shoots? Okay, I didn't.
Yes, know. And that's how I beat the game. That's how that's why I'm asking this question. Is House of the Dead the same as the House of the Dead Overkill, the same as Typing of the Dead? Because I realized that I was playing the Overkill version, and that's why I was asking about if the story was the same. As it turns out, it is.
Yeah, Overkill is like the prequel to House of the Dead 1. So you see the origins of Agent G and all that stuff, and it's like it does like the film grain, and it kind of like skips at times, and you'll have random images that show up in like in the film frames and stuff like that. They're really leaning into it, and I love it.
They really ham it up.
And it does like the discoloration, like to make it look like it's older film and all that.
And one guy is just supposed to be Shaft.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, there's that guy in there. It's great. Like I love that game. That was the House of the Dead that I played the most because it just had great replayability. Because like the more points you gain, the more money you would unlock to like buy new weapons and like, yeah, and it was all about getting combos and getting higher scores and all that stuff. And
see, now if you want to take away buying weapons and upgrading and just want to type, may I recommend Typing of the Dead Overkill?
I don't know if it could be the same. I didn't know it existed until just now. So there you go.
Yeah.
Typing of
the Dead, it's weird.
I'm glad you got to experience it in some way. And I know, and I know it has the weirdest ending ever, but I thought it was meaningful for the time. It was when Nintendo was really trying to prove that they had mature games. Like they were welcoming it on the Wii. They're like, please bring the weirdest shit you got. Let's do it. Let's do it here. Let's exclusive.
And now they just have H games.
I mean, they still have weird shit on Switch.
Well, I know, but these H games are pretty mature.
What are the H games?
Oh, anime naked ladies.
Oh, you're talking about the hentai games? Yes.
Yeah,
those on there. Yeah.
Did you guys see that recently?
I was going to say that we probably won't get to it just because we're going kind of long already. But there's a game called In the Mood coming out this week, and it's basically porno like Bust a Move, the Bust a Move game where you move the ball and shoot it at stuff, and you unlock pictures of women, and I don't know if they're fully naked or not. I don't know. There's some really dumb games that just show up.
They won't go that far, but
it's going all the way back to.
But they do
Bubble
though.
Bath Babes on the NES.
No, that's what I'm saying. But they do have nudity on Switch. Like it's there. Oh yeah. I mentioned it before. What was it?
Animal Crossing.
Outlast, the horror game Outlast. There's dicks in that game. There's dicks that chase you. Naked men with waggly dicks that chase you through the game.
But one of my co-hosts is we make fun of him because he plays a lot of H games. He beats like 15 a year. He beats them. But one of the jokes I saw on the news was that they were promoting the next, Nintendo Switch Sports and whatever the hot new games was. But then the second thing on that list and like the big display on the eShop was Hentai Uni, which was about like anime girls at university.
Oh boy,
yeah, there's some weird ones in there. I mean, it
was weirder that it was like front page on the eShop, like big banner.
Yeah, there's some really strange names on there. Like one of them was like inside her parentheses bedroom, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, saw that one.
There's one on my wish list that my friend showed me that is surprisingly good. It's called Block Knockers. But it's like a slide puzzle match 3 game, but I was like, he's like, no, this is a pretty good game, and then of course there's bikini ladies, and I was like, well, that seems stupid, and then I started playing it, and I was like 3 levels deep, and I was like, I gotta stop playing this. Is like just kind of like a normal addicting, just like sliding blocks around and trying to figure out how to break a bunch of blocks. I was like, okay, I'm just more addicted to the puzzle, and he's like, yeah, I know, and then again, bikini lady, and I'm like, I don't care about the bikini lady.
Sure you don't. Yeah,
that's on my like.
I can't even perform anymore if there aren't blocks in the bed.
But
finish. Yeah, it's my wish list. I'm like, I'm gonna play Block Knockers.
Continuing on, I'm almost done here, and we'll take a break. Speaking of House of the Dead, I did actually play House of the Dead, the Switch one, without motion controls, just using the stick to aim, and I did much better than actually aiming with the motion control. So
that's
motion controls didn't help you, huh?
No, I mean it was better with the stick actually, because a lot of the characters you have to shoot like one area over and over and over again, and with the motion control it's kind of just all over the place. So I got the best score ever. I just plowed through the game like in a half hour just using the stick and no motion control, and I'm like, okay, if I play it again, I'll do it that way. That was a small thing of that. But I did. I visited the GameStop that John and I used to go to in college, the one on Canal Street over there in Chicago.
Yeah,
the one
for Wind Waker.
Yeah, the one we went to Wind Waker. It still exists, and I managed to find 3 Amiibo that I've never gotten before, so that I've never seen before. So I have 3 Amiibo here to show you, to talk about on the show. But I have the Egg Lady, Ina, from Monster Hunter Stories 2. Never seen her. She's very Easter-like because she's holding a giant egg. There you go.
Cool.
I also got my Palamute, Monster Hunter Rise. Found one of those. Finally, they've re-released all the Monster Hunter ones because of the upcoming Sunbreak, which I'm very excited about. And also, I got the Ray's Wing Rathalos right there.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a big one. Extra $3.
That's from Stories 2?
Yeah, it's from Stories 2 as well. So I have 3 Stories 2 ones, and I have all of the Monster Hunter Rise now because I got the cat, the Palico, and Jess got me the there you have it. You have it right here. There it is. Well, here's the Palamute.
And then the other one.
Well. Yeah, there's Magnamalo.
Magnamalo, yeah, I want Magnamalo.
Yeah, Magnamalo has been re-released, so you can find them easier now. But Jess bought it for me at the time when it came out. And got it from eBay. But just quickly before we go to break, got to do the patented Amiibo opening. So here we go. I'll tear through 3 of those.
Ruin the value.
Listen to that capitalism.
Hear everybody start to cry. No!
Oh, no!
No, don't bend the card. Wait, you're ripping it.
This one's not even letting me come out.
Jeremy, I'm just looking at your old school television right now.
It's got 2 of them.
Ooh. They're both small, but they both work.
There you go.
It's a cool Rathalos.
Rathalos. Yeah, it was kind of dumb. I was like, well, these are 3 that I have to get because I mean any sort of a collector knows that you'll see one thing one time and then you'll never see it again.
Yep.
So get it when you see it. Otherwise, you may never find it. So especially, you know, I became a Monster Hunter fan from Monster Hunter Rise, which we talked about. I think we talked about that as well.
By the way, that bit me in the ass. By the way,
what did Monster Hunter?
I told you about. I was like, oh man, you got to get into Monster Hunter is the best. And then there was 2 games that
I think you missed out on it. I didn't see you on there much, or you didn't.
No, there was 2 games that came out that year that for some reason I just could not get in the mood to play: Guilty Gear Strive and Monster Hunter. And so it came out on PC. Ooh, look at that leg.
Nice egg.
And then it came out on PC, and I was like, maybe that's the reason. Maybe I need to play it on PC. I bought it on PC, will not install. It installs, and then it just errors out constantly, and I can't get a refund.
Oh no!
Oh, did you get it through Steam?
Yeah, I got it through cdkeys.net.
Oh,
but I can't refund it, and it just doesn't work. And I've sent countless emails to both Capcom and the tech support forums on Steam. Oh, that's a good collection.
Here's the fam.
It's good Amiibo.
That sucks that you haven't got to play it because Monster Hunter Rise is excellent.
Well, just like to me, it was like, this is the world telling me, just play it on your Switch, you idiot.
You should. It's good.
I mean,
it's good on
it's
there.
easily the best looking game on the Switch.
It's for some reason I just wasn't in the mood at the time.
It looks great.
Was like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. I don't know why I'm not in the mood to play it.
And that's what I have for the week. Why don't we take a break and then we'll come back and talk about the rest of the stuff.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
We're back from the break. Jeremy, tell us about where you are in Elden Ring. Jeremy's been the Elden Ringer for like 5 weeks now. But you're finally somebody who can talk to him about it. It's
true. It's true.
Because none of us have played Elden Ring, so.
And that's why I'm glad we spoke a little bit before, because I want to make sure I'm not being a spoiler guy here too much. But whatever. This game's like, at this point, I don't even care about spoilers anymore because I just want to know what to do. I don't want to be lost. So I've been looking at guides and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I've been listening to podcasts about the lore, and I just really dove into this game head first. And
there's some good YouTube videos of like people who do like just like, oh, I'm just gonna do lore videos. It's like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yep, I've watched a few of those, and also I listened to Bonfire Side Chats. It's a watch out for fireballs Patreon exclusive one. So I started patronizing them a couple weeks ago. So they've got like a nice little, I could just listen to a whole, podcast just about it, which is kind of like this little segment. Last thing I did was I beat Starscourge Radon. I've been stuck on him for weeks. I go back to him, I play him, I'll leave. I'll be like, fuck this. I just hate it so much. It's just such a hard battle, but I beat it tonight. My goal is to beat it by the time we recorded, and I beat it about 5 minutes before we started recording. So thank goodness. I was going to be disappointed in myself.
Have you told the guys what that fight is like?
Well, I told them a little bit about it, but so Starscourge Radon is he's a demigod who basically, I think he used to be the husband of the god of the world, but before that he was married to this other goddess or queen or something. Anyway, he's kind of a dramatic. He's caused a lot of drama. He like left one lady to go to another, all this stuff. But anyway, he, at this point, has been eaten alive from the inside by scarlet rot. So he's just a zombie, essentially. And he's huge, and he rides this little comically tiny horse.
That's what's very funny is this guy is massive.
I feel so bad for this horse.
Yeah, and he's riding a very tiny horse.
The horse looks miserable. I mean, it's obviously an undead horse, but it looks very unhappy.
Undead and unhappy.
Yeah, it's just bending under his weight. He doesn't have feet though, so I think that's probably why he has to have a horse.
And what makes it a very cool fight is that it's a completely you don't have to do it at all in the story. So it's completely you're making the choice to like, I'm gonna play this fight, and then it's on a battlefield, and the festival is to like, how do we like, he wants to get bested, so he's like, I need some good fights. So the festival is just anybody wants to fight this demigod, go for it, I guess. And you meet NPCs throughout the game that kind of like just talk to you and give you quests and stuff like that. But any NPC you have fought or you've met in the game will be at the festival, and you could just summon to hang out with you and fight this giant epic battle on this hill, which is filled with like just corpses on this desert sand, like this giant sand dune. And you're just like,
it's quite possibly the largest arena I've fought a boss battle in.
And the thing about these games is that it's very much a one-on-one, you and this character, maybe you and one other character, but this is like, no, you summon 7 people, and it is just,
and they're
epic.
All weak as shit.
And then they all die, but if you get him to like his like halfway point, because all the bosses here have like 2 phases. When you get into the second phase, you can resummon them. Like they give you a gap. He jumps into the air, and it's like, resummon all your friends. And it's like, I guess, okay, 7 more people. Let's go. Let's all hang out, and let's all. So it's a very epic feeling all around.
That second phase too. Fuck that phase. Like at the beginning, if you don't know what's going to happen, he'll just one shot you because he comes back down out of the sky like a meteor, and you can kind of see him coming from a distance. So if you're like watching, you could avoid him. What I ended up learning was just run away from all the NPCs because he's going to try to crash into as many as he can.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, but the first time he hit me directly, and I was so pissed because I had never gotten that far before, and then he one-shotted me as soon as he came back.
Well, I mean, also, if you're far away from him, he just starts shooting arrows out of a bow and arrow like a rail gun. They're like laser cannon arrows. And
it's essentially like Fortnite building a wall of arrows towards you, and then will kill you very quickly if you get caught in the flash of arrows.
So there's that. And then, so in the beginning, even just starting the fight, you enter this arena, and all of a sudden you just have this guy blasting railgun blast, laser beam cannon arrows at you while you're trying to summon all your friends. So it starts off very intense, and then it just continues to progress that way.
If you fuck up at the beginning, like you don't get to cover quick enough, you pretty much might as well just restart the battle, because he'll get a few hits on you at the beginning, and you can heal and stuff, but you're going to need that shit later. So
Yeah, so you're just hanging out with 7 of your like a small army of people jumping this giant dude with double swords on a tiny horse, shooting rail guns, laser beam arrows. It's a very intense fight.
He starts shooting like big asteroid rocks at you, and he starts to fly through the air and spit at you like M. Bison style.
That's why
it gets really intense.
It's very cool that you beat this boss, just because that whole thing is just an event. It's just an event that you're participating in, and it's again, you don't need this boss to beat the game. So it's entirely of your own volition to say, this is what I'm going to do for the next 15 hours.
Yeah, I just wanted to I want to squeeze all the joy out of this game I can. I've been really good. Like, it hasn't been great for the podcast because I haven't been playing much Switch stuff, but
just been no Nintendo input from Jeremy.
Yeah, I haven't spent money on a video game in almost 2 months. And
there you go. You can save some money.
This game was a hugely great value. I'm telling you, this is one of the best values in gaming. If you like games, you're going to like this to some extent, but it's fucking hard. No getting around that. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of where I've been. You know, I've just been grinding. I like to level up, so I like to get into little phases where I'll just grind out a level or two in the same area. And I found a really good spot. Well, people have been telling me about it, but I finally found it myself. And yeah,
the tiny man.
Yeah, the tiny man.
Yep,
it's so easy to just. And I got the. Did you beat the sorceress in the academy?
Yes.
That full moon summon she gives you, that's really effective against those guys if you get them together in groups. And I've been able to like just AoE them, and it's great. I love it.
Oh, so you're using magic?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a magic user. I'm a battle wizard. I think it's what my friend said. So I'm pretty good with the sword, but my intelligence is at 80 right now, and
I just went dual wield. I'm gonna be I wanted to be like a warrior rogue, and then my friends are like, that you just made everything triply hard for yourself.
I'm just a coward, so I like to hide. I like the kind of stealthy approach you can take with the spells. I know you can with melee too, but I really like to hide like a coward.
You're doing the right thing. I'm saying. I just the way my friend put it, he goes, "Oh, so you're just dragging your balls across the map, huh? You're just really just making everything suck." I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because I came off of Arceus to play this, so I basically just started playing this like Arceus. I'm just hiding in the tall grass, and instead of catching the Pokemon, I'm killing the demon guy, the bad boy guys.
Yeah, Arceus. That was a game that I gave up on. Well, I gave up on trying to find those fucking purple fires.
I almost forgot.
I love that game so much.
It's been so long.
I mean, I love that game so much, and I put 100+ hours into Arceus, but those fucking fires.
You didn't finish the Pokedex, huh?
No, I didn't, because I got tired of finding the stupid fucking purple fires. As I said, it's annoying. Like, even when you know where they are and you still can't find them, I'm just like, I gave up. Like, other stuff came out. Kirby came out. Skywalker Saga came out. There were other games that I was more interested in, and now Zombie Army. It's super fun. So fuck.
I gotta go back to Kirby.
I actually right when I finished Zombie Army, when I wrote my review, the first thing I did was play Kirby. I played a level of Kirby because Kirby is just like, it's just a great chill game, and I was just like, I played one level just to like chill myself,
like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, it's a nice pretty fun thing, and I'm like, all right, because I was just like hitting Zombie Army like crazy, like I'm like every day I'm gonna play this, till I get through it, and then I was just like, okay, I made it, I did the review, and now I'm just gonna chill out, and I'm just gonna play Kirby, and I did Kirby, and I was like, this is nice, I like it. I mean, there's the whole reason I got
Kirby and Elden Ring. That was the whole thing. It was
people were saying
was the hard ring. Kirby was the chaser.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason that I got Kirby, I was working on a job in Iowa. I was out of town doing like a 6-day shoot or whatever. And I wanted something chill that I could just like throw myself into that I don't have to think that hard about, and I don't really need to know that much about. And Kirby was the game. That was my after work game. I go to the hotel and, just throw myself into some hours of Kirby and go to bed and come to work the next day. It was a good, for me, it was a good like mental,
break,
whatever, mental help thing for me. It's just, let's play Kirby. It's nice. It's not too good. It's not too complicated. I mean, it's all about like, searching and exploration and all that stuff. But it's a good game. Like I'll be real surprised if it doesn't show up on my top 10 for the year. I think and I haven't even beat it yet. I'm in like the fourth or fifth level set. But It's cool.
Jeremy, do you see you're going to the end of this Elden Ring adventure?
I kind of have to. I made a resolution at the beginning of the year on the show that I was going to finish a Souls game this year for the first time. So this is going to have to be the one. I can't start it. I can't start over.
You made that when you were hosting the show, also. Jeremy was was the head of the show for that one, and you made that as a So now you have to. No,
my reputation is on the line. I have to get to the end of this. I have several months left to do it, so that's good news.
I'd be really, really surprised if you didn't finish it. Just like with how much you've been into it. Like if you just didn't, I wouldn't expect that.
I'm starting to feel a little bit of the beginnings of burnout for the game, but a lot of that was due to the performance issues, and they had this huge patch like 2 days ago, and it's been working like a dream since then. So I think my lag wasn't just my shitty computer; it was also just a general PC issue because my computer's not that shitty. I guess I just kind of...
You didn't really talk much about lag. Was it because of the graphic upscaling or stuff that made it not work as well?
I have it on the lowest settings, so
yeah, I thought it was running. I thought it was running well. I thought it was running well for you. No,
it ran well for a while, then it started running real shitty, and I just noticed online that a lot of people are having similar problems with frame drops and stalling. So not even just a frame drop, but it would literally just do like a momentary freeze from time to time, and you can't have that when you're fighting Star Scourge Radon. You need that timing so you can dodge and shit. So luckily it got up and running, and I do think the patch has a lot to do with me making a decent amount of progress the last couple of days, but mostly just trying to get stronger and open up more of the map. I mean, that's really the most fun part, I think, of any big game like this, is just trying to uncover that whole map. And so whenever I get kind of discouraged, that's what I go and try to do. And there's still more to unlock. So yeah, there's more to do here.
That map is giant. I have the exact same thought process as you, where I that was like because I'm probably like I'm not that like I'm not that far into it, but I definitely like that was one of the earliest things I decided to do, was like I'm just going to explore the map. That's all I'm going to do, and then come back for bosses. And I'm like 30 hours in, and like I have every part of the map explored and available that is currently possible without like fighting a boss. Like the next step is to like, oh, I got to go explore this second section.
Did you get the 2 parts of the Dectus medallion?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Did you?
I guess you don't need those. There's a coward's path, but I don't know how to. I don't know what that is.
Did you find the elevator downstairs
to Celia River?
The underground city.
I've found parts of that, but I haven't been able to. So I got like under Kaled. I've got some over there, and then I got some over the Seofa River well in Lingrave. But I don't think I've unlocked the full like underground part. Like I know there's a whole like kind of other world under there. I've seen some big structures, but I haven't seen many NPCs down there.
And if you want another way to get to it, and this is just a fun little breadcrumb trail for you. You have now beaten Star Scourge Radon. If you watch, there was a cutscene after defeating him with a star crashing down.
Yeah, I did see that.
Did you see where the star went?
Got to follow it, I guess.
Yep.
Kind of north.
I will tell you that it crash landed somewhere on the map.
Well, I think it was north because Caled's at the southeast part, so it kind of looked like
you will know it when you see it.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. You can follow it.
Yeah, the game definitely like adapts as you go through the story.
Yeah, I'm excited to jump back in it, I guess. But I did want to say something about a friend of the show, Hutch. Right before we started recording, he said he hadn't really had a chance to play Elden Ring. He tweeted me this, and I think he tweeted you as well, Trey.
Yeah, I just read it, and I responded to it as well. It seems like me and him are sort of in the same boat, but he's much worse on it. He said, do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
You can read it.
Okay, he said, no Elden Ring for me lately. NintenDomain at JMax. It tagged us both. Was hospitalized with severe chest pains, and come to find out that I have a hernia and worse. Large cyst growing near my heart. I have an appointment to schedule surgery tomorrow. Looking forward to podcast as always. Game on, fellas. So I'm like, shit.
Oh no!
Holy shit! Yeah,
that's awful.
I have a couple hernias as well, but not. But he has like one like next to his heart. Like, yeah, no, yeah, we wish you well, and fuck, man.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Like that sucks.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously we're sending good thoughts your way, David, but any listeners
Definitely.
as well,
Yeah.
please. For Hutch, he's a gaming beast, and he's been a great, friend of the show. So
Yeah, we were just talking about like the in between, like
Mhm.
the how insanely good at beating games you are. So hopefully in the recovery process you'll have time to beat like 100 games.
yeah, maybe your kid will actually let you play Elden Ring now that you're going to be in recovery.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Send out our best to you.
But I will say, if you were, anybody who was playing on PC, if you haven't touched it for a little while, give it a try and see if the patch helps, because it made it run a lot better on my computer, and I think made it more fun and more playable just with that one update. So who knows if it'll go back to the way it was or not. But for now, I'm still having fun. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna try my best to play something on the Switch this week. I just tried to turn my Switch on to check my play schedule, and the battery had died. So that should tell you something about the last time.
Oh, I as I mentioned earlier about watching that Alex was playing Nobody Saves the World. I don't know if you know, but on my Switch, I spy on you constantly. I spy on everybody. I spy on all your Switch plays. I just want to know what people are playing. Like, I have it to where it like shows up in the corner when anybody logs on. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's happening with that one. Well, actually, because now on the Nintendo app, you can actually look at stuff when you're not on the Switch, so you can spy even more. Like, because, we could segue this because John was telling me about a game that he got, and I wasn't near my Switch, but I was able to jump on through the Nintendo app, and I could see that he was playing it. And I was like, yes.
Oh yeah.
So
I was playing a lot of it.
Yeah.
Play my pretty.
But let's segue. Let's segue to what John's been doing.
Sure. Well, I'll talk about that first. I got Quake, and I've been really enjoying it because it was only $4. It was on sale.
Yeah, there's a big sale like for all of those.
Was QuakeCon recently?
No, QuakeCon hasn't happened yet. QuakeCon's happening digitally, from what I heard. But this was just a big Bethesda sale across everything on Switch. So they were selling like all the old Doom games for like $250. Like Doom 64 is $250, which is like
I got that too.
One of my favorite 64 games. I talked about it way too much, but yeah, that game's awesome. $2.50. I mean, it's like $5 anyway. It's like 50% off. So get that while you can. But yeah, Quake was $3.99, which that was a game that I love that game. I mean, I played it. I actually only really played it on 64, like the 64 version. So it was nice to play like a perfect version of it on Switch, and it runs really, really well. And I just, like I was saying earlier about killing demons and stuff, like Quake, Doom, like that's my shit. So
I played Quake first, like I think it was 7th grade or something. My friend gave me his CD that he bought to copy it, and I want to say at the time that it only came with like one of the episodes, but I know that there's a lot that's unfamiliar to me so far in this Switch version. So I think when I played it back then, I only got like one portion of what was the whole game eventually, and I've been really enjoying this Switch port. I think it runs great. I think it's a fantastic port. Like they have all these different options and stuff. You can change the graphics to try to make it look more modern if you want to. You can like smooth the textures, and personally, I didn't do any of that. I went and tried it all out, but I just wanted it to look like it did back in the day. You can turn the HUD on and off so it can be minimal, or you can use the classic HUD. I actually ended up turning that off because I like the minimal look. They did a fantastic job, and at $4, $10 normal price, even that would have been worth it. It runs super smooth, and I'm really impressed with just like the design of the game. I don't think the last time I played it when I was 13 or whatever, I was really like analyzing the level design and all that stuff. I was just having fun blasting 3D polygonal monsters for the first time. But like I noticed that there's times where like there's certain levels are sort of like puzzle-like in design, and you'll have to traverse the labyrinth, and they're designed so well that like when you're done with whatever the puzzle is, it'll spit you right back out like to exactly where you need to be to progress again. So you're not lost. Sometimes you get lost in those kind of games and backtrack and all that. It just I just solved the puzzle and I'm exactly where I need to be. So it's really good design. I'm really noticing. It's just
That was always
fun.
my problem with those kinds of games, that I would always get lost.
Well, some of I think a lot of it is because like the textures, like a lot of the textures look similar, but Quake does
brown, a lot of brown in Quake.
A lot of brown.
But Quake does a good job, like putting, like when you find a thing, you like come out next to where the locked door is when you get the key, and totally,
Right.
You're right, John. Like it does a lot of that, and I felt like I don't know what it is, but I feel like the control on it was some of the best, like aiming. Like first person aiming that I've played on any of the games. So.
And it has the gyro, subtle corrections that you can tilt the controller this way and that way.
Gyro aiming, yeah.
I think every first or third person action game should have that gyro aiming. If you have shooting in your game, I make sure I can just tilt the controller a little bit to get exactly where I want to. It's the best replacement for using the mouse as you would on a PC. You can make it so accurate. Yeah,
you really miss it when it isn't there. Like, Zombie Army had it as well. Thankfully, like had the gyro aiming, but Skywalker Saga didn't, and I just noticed that it wasn't there. I was like, wait, what the fuck? You don't have? And I just move it a little bit, just tweak it a little bit to the side, but you notice when it isn't there. It's like, oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Quake. I also got Doom 64, which I didn't play as much just because I've been knee deep in Quake and wanted to get through that, but I'll jump into it more. Once I'm done with that.
I think there's like 3 episodes in Quake, maybe of like the regular Quake, but once you beat that, there's also like DLC Quake, so like Quake keeps going, and there's also like you can play the 64 Quake, which I think I mentioned that before when it came out. But they have like the 64 version that has the levels that were in the 64 game, and they also put like a blurring filter on it to make it look like you're playing 64. A 64 game on a tube TV, which I thought was really funny.
Great.
So they do a thing to actually make it look like the original game and all that. And not to mention, there's cross-play deathmatch as well if you ever want to jump online and get your ass
I definitely want to give it a try sometime.
By 12-year-olds.
I beat some portion of it because I got what looked like an end screen and said congratulations and everything. But there's all these different other arenas you can go to.
You probably played through one of the episodes because there's like an overworld where they're all connected, and you can go to whichever one you want. And once you beat that, they throw you back into that, and then you go through another portal to the next episode.
Is that how it was originally in the original game?
I think so. I mean, I got a PC. I downloaded a Mac version of it whenever I got a Mac, and I played through that, and it was the same thing. It dropped you into the world with all the different portals, and you went to whichever one you wanted.
I'm just trying to remember because although I had the game, I really don't remember it that well. Because I believe, was it 96 that it came out? I think it was 96.
I played the 64 one, so I don't know. That one didn't come out until later.
Where's my Hexen?
I think Hexen, yeah.
It's in the grave where it belongs. It's in the ground. Fuck that game.
I think I got Quake, and then I got the N64 like shortly thereafter, and so I just kind of on to the next thing. And so my memory of it is not that great. But I'm really enjoying this new one, this Switch edition. I played some Easter games with the family. We had fun playing Smash, Cruise and Blast. We really got into Urban Flow, which I never played the multiplayer version of that so much. I played it with my nephew, but he was 5 at the time. That can only go so far. So we ended up playing with myself, my nephew, and my brother-in-law, and having another adult in there really helped, and it made me see like how fun that game is in multiplayer because you each get a stoplight. You remember that game, right? You're controlling traffic.
Yeah, it was on sale for a minute where you could get it for a couple bucks. I ended up buying it and I played it a little bit, but I didn't get that much into it.
In multiplayer mode, it's a really fun, hectic communication game. It's kind of like Overcooked in that way, which I personally didn't enjoy Overcooked, but it is similar sort of in the way that it encourages you. You have to talk to each other to play the game on multiplayer. You're all sharing one screen. And you each have your own stoplight, or you might have 2 stoplights that you're operating. And if you don't communicate, it's just, you're not getting anywhere. But you say like, oh, get your stoplight, or Steve, get your stoplight, and Dave, okay, go. And it's a good party game that kind of way. So I definitely recommend that. It's on sale a lot for $2 and absolutely worth that. Back to Breath of the Wild DLC and my name reference there. I'm almost done with the Ballad of the Champions. I've got one more shrine to beat, and then I'll be getting to the final boss where I'll get the motorcycle.
Oh, cool. So you're almost there.
Playing right through. Yeah, I'll probably do it tonight. Man, I'm...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that game is great.
came to the conclusion that Breath of the Wild is not for me.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but there's something about it that I just like. I keep wanting to play it, and I keep playing it, but every time I just feel like I'm not like getting the magic there. I think.
I mean, well, Elden Ring has a. I mean, I know that there's like the soul stuff, but there's also like, I mean, Breath of the Wild has inspired like everything. I feel like since it came out
sure.
in was it 2016 and right, or no, was it 2017?
17.
March
17.
3rd, 2017.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah. It's been out for 5 years, and but there's so many like Arceus, like Elden Ring. Even you see it like just go down the different games. Like it's like, well, how is this like Breath of the Wild? So I would think
what was the saying? If you could see it, you can go there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Smuggler's Run. Well, that's the first time I heard that in the game.
I like that. Yeah, it's like that mountain in the distance. You can go up there. There it is.
Yeah.
See that mountain over
really
there? One of these days,
inaccessible.
I'm going to climb that mountain.
Yeah, you go get that.
Yeah, well, there was like, it's the sort of ingenuity that you can bring to the game as the player. If you can see it, you can go there. Well, you find your own way there, and that's part of the fun. I was able to actually do that in one of the shrines. I was having some trouble figuring out one way, but then I realized, if I stand over here and I actually use the freeze time mechanic, I can knock the ball this way and totally cheat it. And so that was very satisfying that I came up with my own solution to it, and it works. And part of the reason why this game just endures for me is you can
that's a good
way through.
That's what was so much fun. I thought was finding your way to, like I mentioned it last week, where it's like you can drop like 10 swords and have like an electrical current go through all of them to connect a thing, and that's obviously not the way you're supposed to do it, but it's fun that you can do that.
See, that's a good selling point, I feel like, for that game. I just think that I was never creative enough to like do something like that. I was always like, what is the most basic way to do it? And then even like, let's click to the top of that mountain. But whenever I got to the top of that mountain, I was like, there's got to be some cool stuff here. And then like, there wasn't always cool stuff there. And that's where I was like, well, I kind of got to the top of my mountain for myself, which is good. And like, it's my own goal. You got to make your own fun to a certain extent. But then I found that like, that's where I was like kind of getting stuck, is that I'm not as creative with the tools. My tools were always, well, climb it or hit it with a sword. And then after that, I didn't know what else to go for.
How far did you get with your stamina? Because maximizing that stamina wheel makes a really huge difference in the game.
But it's always like, for me, it's like, do I maximize my stamina, or do I try to go for the sword?
I was going to say, once you climb the mountain, you at least find like a Korok seed or something up there. Like they at least give you something.
Not always. That was always my thing. I was like, oh yeah, there's got to be something there, and then it wasn't always. And I was like, oh well, that's kind of a bummer. But like I that's the thing, is that I understand where all the the Zelda is like one of the greatest games of all time. I don't disagree with you. I just, for some reason, there's something that doesn't. I want it to hit for me. I really want Zelda to hit for me, Breath of the Wild. But for some reason, it just I keep trying. I go back to it like probably once a year. I'm like, I'm going to play it this time, and it's going to hit for me this time, and it's going to be awesome. And I go there, and I'm like, okay, I still feel like this is kind of a bummer for me. Like, and it's just like, I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not playing. Like, it is always like the answer for me is, I'm not playing this the way you're supposed to, and I wish I knew how to play it right.
I think it's kind of like Animal Crossing, right? You play it however you want to play it. Like that, I thought that was what was so cool about Breath of the Wild, is it's just kind of like, it's like, here's all the, they give you all the items that you need, like on the plateau, and then you get off the plateau, and they're like, just do whatever you want. Like, and I thought that was what was really cool about it. It's like no direction really, aside from like the 4, dungeons that you could go to. But aside from that, like, just do whatever. It's like, what's over there? Let's see what that little hill's about. Or there's a guy getting chased by these other guys. Like, what's going on with that? Like, it's kind of,
there's always something. It might not be like a reward at the top of the mountain necessarily, but maybe when you get to the top of the mountain, you can see something interesting off in the distance. Zelda has always been very good at letting you have a peek at what's next, and that keeps you on the line. That was the first time where I really did think about game design was with Ocarina of Time. I noticed that every time you progress, it's like, yes, you resolve one thing, but here's 2 more things that are intriguing. And with Breath of the Wild, I think they've done that like 5-fold. Every time you make a little bit of progress, you get to the top of the mountain. Now I can see 5 more things that are interesting. And just with the size of the map being how huge it is, I was thinking today, like, if there was one game that I could take on a desert island, it would probably be Breath of the Wild, just because there's so much that you can see, so much that you can do. And I'm going to be playing this game for a long time because of that.
Plus, there's a desert island thing on it.
It's a desert island. Yeah, you can do the desert island challenge.
Yeah. There's the one where they take all the shit away from you. I thought that was really fun too. Which they have like a multiple level of that in the DLC also. So
see, I thought that was a fun island to find.
Yeah.
Oh, you found that one?
Yeah.
I killed those monsters with the rocks. Like you just throw the rock on them from the top. Like I mean, you always try to find. I think the thing about
like Lord of the Flies style, push boulders onto people's heads.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yeah.
I mean, I think the idea of Breath of the Wild, you shouldn't like be thinking about what's the right way to do it. You should just do it however you want to do it, because that's. I mean, I feel like that's a like especially you're saying like in JRPGs and stuff like it's like the FOMO thing, especially with like Persona, right? Where it's like you want to know the exact way to do it. Like just let it be and just play it the way you want to play it, And then and then after you beat it, maybe if you want to go through it again, you can find out the best way. But I feel like if you can disconnect yourself from whatever the ultimate way is to play it, it becomes more enjoyable. At least for me, You can just kind of just let yourself just be in the game and not necessarily be so worried about what the ultimate ending or whatever is. Just let yourself just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I'll end my turn with a bit of bad news. So my MacBook.
Oh no!
I cracked the screen this week.
Oh shit! What happened?
That's really bad.
Yeah,
that shit's. I mean, you haven't had that thing for that long, and it's expensive. I mean, you got one of the prices.
I paid like $4,000 for that thing.
Yeah,
is it insured? Under warranty or whatever?
No, I didn't get
that.
I didn't get Apple Care.
Oh,
because here's let me tell you how I broke it. So my iPhone, the case is a cheap case. It's kind of funky and it covers the microphone, and so people will tell me all the time when I'm on the phone that they can't hear me. And I thought, well, all right, I'll solve that myself, and I'll just kind of take some scissors and I'll cut the bottom off where it's covering the mic. And I did that, and a little piece of plastic went off and flew off somewhere. I didn't see where it went. Later on, as I went to close my MacBook, I heard a crack, and I realized that the piece of plastic had flown off right between the computer and the screen, right there in the hinge.
Wow, it was that little bit that broke it. Like
that
tiny piece of
plastic.
Shit. So fragile. Such a fragile screen there. Yeah, it's like.
Well, just because it landed where it landed, it wasn't, resting on the keyboard or whatever. It was in the hinge.
It was like.
So because I was
vertical,
closing the MacBook, it was putting all kinds of pressure on it, and just I heard pop, and I thought, oh my, that's where that landed.
Wow.
Like I realized at that moment that's where it went.
That sucks.
Yeah, so it's a little in the bottom left corner of the screen, a little spider web pattern, probably about.
Oh, but it didn't
2
like
inches.
It didn't like spider web across the whole.
No, it didn't go across the whole screen. So that's one good thing. But as happens with cracked glass, it's going to spread eventually, probably. So
yeah,
it's a matter of time. But I've just been trying to be very careful with it, and I couldn't even bring myself to open the computer today. Like I had work.
You don't even want to see it.
Yeah, I don't even want to see it. Like it's like a pit of the stomach feeling. Like, ugh.
That's your like work computer, right?
It's my work computer. Yeah.
How much have you looked into getting the screen fixed? Like,
I'm gonna look into it tomorrow. I gave myself a day today to just kind of get used to the idea.
Yeah. Just like I don't want to think about it right now. Like just figure it out.
Yeah, let me absorb. So I just played Zelda today. That's why I played so much, because I didn't want to look at the computer. But tomorrow I'll look into it. Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yikes. Well, hopefully, I don't know. Yeah, I know that.
I don't know what it's up with that Sheikah slate, but that screen is really durable.
Yep.
Yeah. At least you got that. Before we go, we should just do can we do some real rapid fire news segments here?
Sure, new stuff.
Before we get out, and most of the time our news segment is pretty quick. So
sure.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
I highlighted some of them. Let's just run through the news really quick. As far as games released, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed came out this week. That's a game that I played through multiple times on Wii. It's weird that it's the Wii version and not whatever other version, but I'm not going to buy it because I already have other Star Wars stuff to play. But it's cool if you put in a code, you can play through the game as Lando with a lightsaber, which is kind of cool. Whatever. Even though if you do put on these other costumes that aren't the actual character, you miss all of the cutscenes. So there's that. But it was a lot of fun when it came out. I thought it worked really well for the motion control on the Wii. So it's kind of weird that they chose that one. I hope that they re-release Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2, because that one had a Smash Brothers game in it as an added-on thing.
Really?
And I never actually... Yeah, the Wii version did. They had a little Smash Brothers thing with, like, levels and Star Wars characters and all that. And I never got to play that game, and I always wanted to. So maybe this one's popular enough, they'll do that one, and then I'll finally get to play it. But yeah, that one came out. That was the big one, not to mention all the other shit.
I hear it's a really good port. I hear it's a good port, very accurate to the Wii.
Oh, sure, yeah. And apparently the motion control works well, like, if you want to do that on your Switch, so... It's just weird that they did the Wii version. I was kind of hoping they'd do like the PS3 360 one, because I never played that one. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't even want to get it portable because I bought it on I have it on PlayStation Portable also. I have that version, so I played it. Okay. It's the same game. Like the PSP, the PS2, the Wii version, they're all the same. Except for the Wii one, I think was... Well, no, I think the other ones did as well. Has like a fighting game in there, sort of. Like a battle, back and forth one-on-one thing that you can do.
Masters of the Terrascasi?
No. Much better than that. It didn't have like some Tusken Raider named like whatever that was in there. Even though I was thinking maybe he would show up in the Boba Fett show, but he didn't. It's like, come on, guys, let's reference the whatever Masters of Tiramisu is what I always called it. But yeah, Sonic Origins got announced. It's a game that has Sonic 1, 2, and 3 on there. Has some
Knuckles.
Has some really confusing.
And CD.
Well, it has some really confusing pricing also. There's like a regular version that's $40, but there's an ultimate version that's like $45. And there's like stuff in between. Everybody's really confused, but also like $45 for like the first 3 Sonic games, which are available on like everything. Well, 4 or whatever.
Yeah, and you can get those on NSO. You can get the Genesis collection for $15. Like, I am so nonplussed by this collection. I like Sonic and all, but
I got no interest in it whatsoever. Yeah.
Even Sonic Mania, which takes some of the best levels.
Yeah.
There is one thing that enticed me about this, which is absolutely not going to make me buy this. But they're ever since Sonic CD, I don't know who's animating Sonic, but they have these like mini like little cutscenes.
Oh yeah, those look cool.
Yeah, and they did that for Sonic CD with that song Sonic Boom, famously. And they have kind of used that art design when they did Sonic Mania. They had little mini shorts that were little like 3-minute little, cartoon cutscenes where Robotnik's trying to catch that wily Sonic and Sonic's always thwarting him. And it's very comical, but it's that anime style from like Sonic CD. And now they're going to make more of those for this. So for me, I'm like, well, I'm going to wait until they get to YouTube.
Yeah.
But I am very happy they're making more of those cool little animated cutscenes.
I mean, don't you have to pay for the extra version or something like to get those though? It's just weird that there's different, like, why are there different versions of it? Why can't it just be one version? Why does there need to be a deluxe that like this one has cutscenes and the other one doesn't? It's like, what?
There's even more confusion with this. At one point, one of the tiers comes with like gold coins,
or one of them is like camera. One of his like camera angles in the menus, and I'm like,
not
what?
Rings, coins.
Like what the?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's like camera angles in the menus. Like, what does that even mean? Like, you're gonna pay extra for camera angles? Like, fuck you, get out of here.
Yeah, you ever wanted to look at options from like really far to the left?
It's like this is dumb. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm so not intrigued by it. But, well, I mean, the animations, I guess, are the one, like, positive aspect of it. But it's also like, yeah, we played all these. They've been re-released a bunch of times. Like, do a fucking Sonic 3D Origins or something. Like, those are the ones that haven't been re-released. I'd be way more interested in that.
Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
That awful 360 game.
I mean, well, we don't have to do that one. But the GameCube one, like, where you could... Sonic Heroes, that one was cool.
That was
good. The advanced ones, those were great.
Yeah, those ones were great. Those were really good.
They should do a collection called Sonic Bummers and just all the worst Sonic games.
Sonic the Werehog. You could put the Werehog one in there. Sonic Unleashed.
They actually make you pay for it with your own blood.
There we go.
I was always curious about that Xbox 360 Sonic, but like the main egregious thing was that it loaded every 5 seconds. It had loading scenes every 5 seconds. But if you like take the loading out, is it good?
It's shorter.
I don't know.
It's just shorter.
Much shorter.
But speaking of Sega, Sega is talked about developing big budget super games involving Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
Which they were inspired
Sounds
by
like some
Fortnite.
Sega
So
exec
I don't know.
got drunk at the bar and someone overheard them. We're gonna make Grace Taxi and we're gonna take Jets at River, smash it together.
I mean, they're not. They're not going to be the same game from what I.
That's what I thought it was. The way it was announced was through Bloomberg Japan, and in the English translation, it made it seem like, well, they're talking about super game between Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. So that made it sound like it was one game mashed together, which sounds pretty cool to me. But unfortunately, it is. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's two separate games, and they're just saying super game because they want it to be like AAA. They want to focus on making their old IPs, popular IPs, into AAA games. That's what they mean.
I mean that. Yeah. I mean they've been saying that for a while. Like if you remember, there were those old Sega surveys that you could do online where they were like, would you buy our old games if we re-released them in whatever way? So they've kind of been talking about it for a while. Yeah, the first article made it kind of sound like the same game, but everything else posted after that has them as like these are separate games, like they're all each their own thing. I'm just hoping.
Not only that, but battle royale games, which could be interesting. I think
inspired by Fortnite. So
battle royale would be cool.
Yeah,
you just outlast each other, and
who can get the most fares or whatever.
There was a Crazy Taxi phone game, like an idle phone game that wasn't like you were driving, but you're just like you're
Crazy Taxi Tycoon.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
That was like the last game that came out in 2017. We just talked about it earlier on a Patreon.
Okay,
episode.
Yeah, that was a good phone game.
I'd never heard of it until we were talking about it on the show. Yeah.
What was the other? What was that game? The something Tycoon or
Crazy? Was it Crazy Taxi Tycoon? Was the last Crazy Taxi game that came out?
But there was a game where you're just like a billion. You're a CEO of a
like
company.
Railroad Tycoon or Theme Park Tycoon.
No. I'm trying to think. It was a phone series of games where you're just like a guy, a CEO, and you're investing money. You're investing money in like lemonade, and then you invest money in candy, and you keep like growing your business. And that's kind of what this was. You were investing money in the drivers, and then getting them more work and doing this whole thing. So it was more about like just putting money towards like a taxi character, and then watching that bar go up. So it was still pretty good though.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I couldn't even think of how that goes with the taxi and all that. Yeah. Maybe you have some industry insider info for this, Alex. How do you feel about this Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online leak that's happening right now from 4chan, which is always kind of like, so I'm like, 4chan still exists? Okay. There was somebody off of 4chan, but apparently, I mean, well, there's been talk about like Game Boy games on Nintendo Switch, and it never really came around. But I guess the interesting thing about it was people were saying that it was made like the leak that they saw, like the emulator that was running on Switch that was running Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance stuff, was by the same company who did all of the emulators that were already on there for like NES, Super Nintendo, 64, Genesis, and all that. So it may have some sort of weight on that. For me, I find it really unbelievable that they would do like Game Boy and Game Boy Advance at the same time. Maybe they're I feel like they'd make you suffer through all of these Game Boy games before you get to Game Boy Advance. Like it's going to be like Game Boy Advance would be like 4 years in the future of Nintendo Switch Online or something like that.
But also being that, well, I was going to say being that it's backwards compatible, but that was actually a hardware thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't even really matter on this.
Here's why I think they would do it at the same time, because they put out controllers for these things, and as far as layout, if they were to do Game Boy Joy-Cons, they would just be a palette swap. They'd be the same, but they would be just different colors.
I just don't think they would drop the Game Boy. I mean, maybe this is a real thing, but I would be really surprised if they dropped Game Boy and Game Boy Advance at the same time. It's like, why would you even want to play the Game Boy games when you have the Game Boy Advance ones? Like,
I would.
I guess like Super Mario Land 1 and 2 are pretty good, but
Dr. Mario.
That's where I played Pokemon.
I mean, Dr. Mario's already on there, but Pokemon, I don't know. Even if this is real, I don't see Pokemon being on a Nintendo Switch Online. They would sell it separately.
Oh,
as its own thing.
Very much not. That's absolutely not going to happen. I just meant like there's some nostalgia for the Game Boy.
Sure, I'm just saying that if this was through Nintendo Switch, like saying earlier about like having to wait like every month for like one game of the 64 to be put on the expansion pack and all that. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to put both of these out together. Like, no fucking way.
Well,
that's such a non-Nintendo thing.
They dropped the N64 and the Genesis at the same time.
Yeah, but the Genesis didn't matter because it was already on there in the Genesis collection. Like, I felt like the Genesis was an afterthought. Like, nobody really cared that much because you could have bought it for much less than how much you would pay for the expansion pack to get it. You could buy half the price to buy the Genesis collection on Switch already, so it's kind of like...
But could you have gotten the Genesis control?
No, you couldn't have.
We still can't get a good Genesis controller.
Well,
Can you, or is that still like on back order?
John got one. I mean,
oh, nice.
Got one, yep.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the 6-button, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 6-button's only in Japan, yeah.
I'll say the Japanese one. I mean, well, I have the one from the Mega Drive Mini that I got in Japan, so I have that. And also a friend of the show, John Wedgeworth, gave me another one for the actual system, which I still haven't used yet.
So as I say, as an industry insider, what it comes down to with this stuff is that it just seems like there's a lot of evidence of something going on with Nintendo in this, that people are just like putting one and one together. Is it correct that this stuff is real? Not necessarily, but what it comes down to is that there is basis of something here, whether they're just testing something out, seeing what the network capabilities are, what the software capabilities are, where people are at as far as the software is concerned. Will they put this together? There's no official evidence, but there is evidence of them seeing what the emulator network and what the emulator world looks like for this, how they run. So people are jumping to conclusions.
Oh, sure. I mean, as they do with all of these.
Yes, but it's not necessarily incorrect. It's just that this may not be for some time.
Oh yeah. I mean, the first thing I thought is that maybe we'll see a Game Boy edition for Nintendo Switch Online during when the announcements for E3 would happen. I know E3 isn't happening, but whenever they're going to do their direct during that time, maybe we'll see.
Maybe a Metroid Game & Watch.
A regular version of it or something.
Yep, and that's what it comes down to right now, is that the fact that people are putting one and one together, which isn't necessarily wrong, but it's just there isn't any evidence that this would actually occur yet.
For sure. Yeah. No, I'm just I don't know. Yeah, you're right. They're probably just trying it out, but I guess they did say that they saw in the leak they saw connectability between the Game Boy and the 64 and all that. And I mean, that's cool. I'm into that. Maybe if they wanted to release Pokemon Stadium and let you buy the Game Boy Pokemon or something like that, and that'd be cool. I'd be into it.
Oh, yeah.
The Nintendo Switch Online game trial for a week as Dragon Quest Builders 2 was on my top 10 game of the year for that year. It's an excellent game. Anybody who hasn't played it, try it out. Or friend of the show, Destroyer of Games, maybe you can beat it in that time. Yeah, he beat what was it? The World Ends With You. He beat it during a trial. Beat the whole game in 2 days. So yeah, April 20th to April 26th. So that's cool. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is really good. So check that out when you can. Also, I mean, this is the big news for me, of course. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got the release date pushed up from what was it originally, September or August or something. Now it's the end of July. So
July 29.
So that means that I need to get on beating Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and play Torna before it comes out. So
you don't hear that too often, the date getting pushed up.
I mean, it might have had something to do with Breath of the Wild getting delayed into the next year. Maybe I don't know why they would make it sooner, but I just feel like that's Xenoblade just chomping at the bit for my time, just being wait, no, it's closer now. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. So
I wonder if because Advance Wars was
pushed back,
delayed indefinitely. Maybe they just had something. They need another thing to plug in there.
I mean, well, Advance Wars was supposed to come out in the beginning of April, though. I mean, that already came and went. Advance Wars was supposed to come out on the 9th. So, I mean, that was a couple weeks ago.
Well, but maybe, they do they're accounting for different quarters and stuff. So maybe they wanted to put something into this quarter since.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it looks great. I'm excited about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm a huge fan of those games, as we've talked about many a times. And they're actually doing a sort of a thing. They're doing a thing on the eShop right now that if you buy any of the Xenoblade Chronicles games, you get double the golden coins that you normally would. So there you go. You get some extra dollars back into your eShop account if you want to buy Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or Torna Edition and all that. I'll probably end up getting Torna with the extra golden coins before that goes through. And I think, and one more thing. This is
the big news.
Well, let's say there's a quick one before we get to the new news, or the big news. Tetris 99, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Tetris Maximus coming up this weekend. I'm very excited about that, but my Switch has actually been acting peculiar lately, where I've been having a hard time playing online games. Like, I keep getting disconnected from the service, so I don't know why that is. Like, I was trying to play Tetris 99 just by itself, and it just kept kicking me out before the game would end. And it's not even just mine. My wife, the same thing. It's been happening to them as well, where they were trying to play Mario Maker 2, and they were getting kicked out before they could get into any of the levels. So I don't know if it's a weird internet thing, or it's weird because I can get online, I can buy games, I can download games.
It's probably something.
I tried the YouTube app, like John was saying. I tried the YouTube app. I watched it, like no disconnections whatsoever. The only time I get disconnected is when it's gameplay stuff. First time I found out was when I was trying to connect with Jess on Animal Crossing, and we couldn't do that. So, but yeah, every time I try to get online, it just like kicks me out. So I don't know what it is. I was able to play like one ranked match on Mario Golf Super Rush, and I thought it was okay. But then we tried to connect with Jess's brother. That didn't work either. So I don't know. I want to play this Maximus Cup, so I'm on the verge of calling Nintendo and being like, "What the fuck? Let me get my Kirby and the Forgotten Land theme." Otherwise, I will never forgive you.
Cool if you could try. Have you tried it with your phone? Like,
I haven't tried it on my phone yet. I mean, I was saying if worse comes to worse, I could see if I could play a game off the hotspot through my phone, which I've used.
And if that, then that would be sort of troubleshooting.
Yeah, I used it for my Wii U to get on and download games through there because my Wii U sucks at connecting to the internet, as I think it always did. But yeah, but that's that small thing. But yeah, the big thing here. Why don't you go for it, John? I know this is one that means something to you.
A Streets of Rage movie is coming from the creator of John Wick. Cool. I'm in.
I'm really, you know what? I'm going to be positively optimistic, I guess, on this.
Me too.
I just don't want it to be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Video game movies they're still not in a good place, really. Like I don't know how you felt about the Sonic movies, Alex, or if you saw the new one. But I thought the first Sonic movie was kind of stupid.
I did not like the first. I still hold that there is one perfect game movie, and that's Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I mean that game was really good. That movie was good. I like that one. I'm just I'm like Streets of Rage is John Wick. There's two different sides I'm thinking about here. It's like number one, I don't want it to be super hokey and too much like the original Streets of Rage thing, but I also don't want it to be like too much Hollywood and too much like not about the game at all, which we get like two spectrums of terribleness out of those. I want it to be some sort of balance between the two of them, where we got enough of the weirdness of the game and enough of like the Hollywoodness for it to make it a good story, and somehow it's good. And Skate, Skate is still in the game. Like, please leave Skate in there, but don't make it hokey. I don't know.
I want to see like a very stylized version of the cover of Streets of Rage, the game, like the cover art with the guy with the the jeans and the headband and the
Axel
cut off T-shirt. Yeah. I want to see.
Streets of Rage 4 was excellent.
Yeah. Streets of Rage 4 is really good. Yeah, excellent. I mean, and also, if you don't call Yuzo Koshiro to do your soundtrack for the movie, you've already failed. You've already failed this test here, because Yuzo Koshiro is still working. Like, I don't know if you got to play Gotta Protectors, like that just came out for Switch, but Yuzo Koshiro did all the music on that, and they did and in the DLC, he did all the different versions of all of it. So if you buy the DLC, you can get like the Wonder Swan version of the songs that are in the game. Like, he went crazy about it, and he made it all on like original hardware and all that. That guy's fucking hardcore and awesome. And if you don't have Yuzo Koshiro on your soundtrack, what are you even doing? Like, seriously.
Yep.
Like, don't even bother. Like, that was a huge part of the greatness of Streets of Rage. So yeah, and like I said, that guy's fucking baller and still making music left and right. So that's how we do it. There.
I want them to just lean into the 90s kitsch that makes it so appealing, of like three early 20s cops going out into the streets and kicking some ass, taking down a criminal syndicate. I don't want to have like the FBI back them up and all that stuff. I want these three to go out and take down hordes of bad guys
I want to see him eat chicken out of a garbage can. That's all.
Chicken out of a
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, I also want. I mean, like I said, I don't want it to be too hokey, but I also want the weirdness. I want them to be like in like a in like an amusement park, like they are in like Streets of Rage 2, like where all of a sudden you're fighting in a fucking baseball field, or like you're in like a UFO area with fake alien dudes like coming after you. Like,
right.
Let's just go places with it. Yeah, that's what I want.
Here's a question: is this the right climate for like 3 cops just to go out and start beating the crap out of people?
Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah,
but I want this movie to leave real world concerns. I want to be in a movie. I want to be in a cinematic universe, Streets of Rage, like where leaving politics out of it. I just want to see. I just want to see what Streets of Rage the video game is put on the movie screen.
Agreed. Maybe give us some like noir soundtrack, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yuzo Koshiro, if he's not on there, I'm automatically out. I'm like, you had one job. Like, really? You're not putting this on here?
The movie
like,
better be at least like 80% action sequences, though. It's got to be. just street brawls constantly.
There's no point otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the actual story part's going to be interesting. I don't know. We talked about a couple episodes about playing Final Fight 1 on CD and all the added like cutscenes they put in there with voice acting and all that. So who knows?
What if it was like Rumble of the Bronx, but with like 3 cops?
Yeah, see, there we go. See, we could we're pretty much setting this up right now.
Rumble of the Bronx was badass.
It's one of the best action movies, in my opinion.
Do you want to mention your EverDrive before we leave here, Jeremy? But that's the
I did want to mention that. I ordered. So this is kind of cool. Kind of got into following Crix around the time all this shit started to go down in the Ukraine, in Ukraine. Sorry, and he had to evacuate, as we've mentioned on the show. He ended up having to evacuate and go to Spain. But I guess he already had dual citizenship, and he got his whole family there safely. But as of that moment in time, all of the people that worked for the industry, for Crix, like specifically for his company, like everything just kind of went into limbo with their stock and with their website. Like they had to completely close the store, and just all these people's livelihoods just kind of like went out the window. So I was actually kind of happy to see the other day, just happened to catch him tweet. It was really late at night, like 3 a.m. I was about to go to bed, and I saw a post from Crix that said, "We have some stock of EverDrives in the store right now if you'd like to go check." I'm like, holy shit. I went and I really wanted to get a 64 one or a Game Boy Advance one. Those are the ones I want the most, but I managed to snag a Super Nintendo one.
I mean, that's
I
cool,
think that's going to be great for translated JRPGs. That's what I'm going to use it for.
You can probably play the good version of Dragon Quest 6, right? Like the Super Nintendo is definitely the best version of that. I've said it before. I want the Dragon Quest 6, the Super Nintendo version, but with the translation from the DS game, and put those together, which probably isn't on there. But
I think you can use this for Super Famicom as well. I think it's interchangeable. So obviously, with the it's all the same technology. It was just there's just a little block that you have to break off in the Super Nintendo. But I was happy to get it, and I went to the store the next day, and everything was sold out again. So I think there was a good response online, and
you made the right move.
I might have just got lucky. Yeah, I might have just like snuck in there at the right moment. But happy to have an EverDrive. It wasn't that bad, even with shipping. It was like it was 80 something. Yeah. So I mean, it's not cheap, but hey, at this stage, I just kind of felt like, hey, I'm helping them out, and I get to have a EverDrive finally. Like after 10 years of like looking at these things online, I can finally have one.
Yeah, I mean, you get to throw some money to Crix, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
There's as far as this one's, I mean, it's sad because of Ukraine and all that, but there's a game coming out this week on Switch called Beautiful Ukraine. It's basically like a puzzle game, like a jigsaw puzzle game where you put stuff together and it's pictures of Ukraine. Probably incredibly depressing to look at, but all of the proceeds from it go directly to Ukraine charities and all that. And it's like $4. I was just going to buy the game and just not even, I don't know if I'll necessarily play it, but I just wanted to throw some money into there. So for anybody who wants to help it out, it came out this week. It's on there. It's called Beautiful Ukraine. It's kind of sad because it says like, here's the way Ukraine looked before it was in a war and all that stuff. So if you want to throw money through the Nintendo eShop, it says that in the description that it all goes to charity and all that stuff. So do that. It's only $4. Like I said, I mean, the game, don't even worry about the game. Just give yourself a way to throw money into Ukraine and all that stuff. But thanks everybody for listening to this episode. That's we're at the time here. Alex, tell everybody where they can find you on the internet.
I am one of the founders of the Super GG Radio podcast. So you can always find us at superggradio.com, Twitter at twitter.com/superggradio, and just in general on all podcast services, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
And don't forget that did you say that you can also find your reviews on Nintendo World Report and Third Coast, right?
Yep, Third Coast Review and Nintendo World Report, and occasionally at superggradio.com.
Nice. Well, you could find both of our reviews on Nintendo World Report also. And like you're saying, like check out all the stuff that you mentioned, Atelier Sophie 2 and Persona Arena Ultimax and Nobody Saves the World and Zombie Army 4 and there's another one you said as well. But yeah, check out all those reviews are still available on that site. So give them a read, and I'll put a link to the website and all that stuff on there.
And also check out their YouTube channel. That's that you find some video reviews and stuff like that on there too.
For sure. And if you want to find more of our stuff, and you got a Patreon as well. GG Radio does.
Yep. Patreon.com/superggradio. 90% of our profits, 90% of any Patreon money goes to charity, the Children's Miracle Network.
Yeah, I know you've done a lot of streaming stuff and you do it every year, like in November and all that. Do all the donation charity stuff as well. And now there's a Patreon to go along with it as well.
Yeah, we like to do the extra life, the extra life streaming.
Yeah. That's the word I couldn't think of.
Yeah.
But I'll put a link to that as well. So you have a Patreon. I was gonna say also, if you want to hear more of our voices if you want to support the NintenDomain, we also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. We just recorded an episode earlier today about basically things they were in game series that have been taken away that we wish were back, like certain aspects of games. Like it was inspired by Kirby 64, how you could originally combine abilities, and you can't do that anymore. So we did all of our lists together about different things that we miss of games and brought it back and all that. So check that out. Not to mention, we do like a WART radio where I use all the music from this as a playlist and all that shit. Check that out there, and you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Nintendo_domain. Jeremy's at JMaxStack. What's your Twitter, Alex?
Oh, I just use twitter.com/superggradio.
Okay, yeah. So check that out there. And thanks everybody for listening to us. We've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Aaron McCoskey.
John Knitter.
And special guest,
Alex Orona.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next week.
See ya.